thrusters.
Hailing frequencies open.
Scotty, we need more power. I can't hold it much longer, Captain.
We're losing the Colonel's signal, sir.
Well, what was Spock's order? His usual, Captain. The two-piece combo. Okay, give me a two-piece combo.
Aye, sir.
No, wait. Make it 3 pieces. Leave them up, Scotty. Status report. Close call, Captain. Almost lost the coleslaw on that one.
Captain's log, stardate 2453.87. The crisis was averted, our cravings satisfied. The chicken was excellent.
Take us out of here, Mr. Sulu. Warp factor 2.
I just need to make a quick comment on that before we proceed.
Okay.
So, according to all diagrams I've seen of the bridge, there's only one bathroom in the corner, which we never see. And you have an entire bridge of people eating KFC. How are you going to deal with that? Somebody between now and the end of the stream, somebody explained to me how that's going to work, because I see a disaster brewing. That's all. Sorry, Dan. That was just
it was clearly synthetic KFC, right? That was the deal.
I've got to edit this afterwards, you know. Okay. Yes.
I have a KFC 1 block away, and I'm there like twice a week.
Oh dear God.
There is a KFC in Deptford, southeast London, that is, I believe, at the halfway point of the London Marathon. That has a toilet, and that toilet is well used on the London Marathon.
I had no idea this advert was going to have that effect, because this is the bit where I've simply got to say we're hailing you and hailing us from the USS Warp Drive. We're back, we're live, and we're raw. Just the tip. beaming in. We're beaming in. We're beaming in, and we're crashing out here in our drinking den. This is 10 Backward, where we're serving Trek talk, banter, and other bollocks right up your alpha quadrant. All you have to do is stay right where you are, and we'll send it directly to your table. Of course we will. And when I say we, I mean all of us gathered here, snugly, relatively sober, for this edition of the show. I've got the RetroDoc himself, Gary Akers, here on deck. What station are you manning tonight? At the trivia section, if you just won a trivia competition, haven't you, on classic sci-fi? So you can be our trivia operations.
I'm very proud of that. It was a TV sci-fi, like football pick. I came out victorious, representing Type 40 in the Space Book. So very happy about that.
Star Trek victorious. We've got the Rabbi from another planet here. What would your station be? Engineering, or would you be in the galley serving
I am
food
on
like Neelix?
holodeck testing. That'd be me.
Cleaning up after Riker.
Yeah, no. Let me tell you, I will be making my own mess. me and the holographic ensign Sydney Sweeney. We're fine.
Oh dear, I had to ask, didn't I? We've got he's back again, one every minute after all. Right over there, we've got Home Media Minefields, Keith Isles, enormous Star Trek fan, glutton for punishment. Welcome back, Keith. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you too, absolutely. And I believe that the Rabbi has become my inner monologue. But hey,
it's bound to happen eventually, mate. It happens to us all. We've got David Milling there in the bottom right-hand corner. I can't quite reach you from here, David. I'm sort of high-fiving you anyway, or low-fiving you, whatever is the case. Good to have you back on board. What would your station be? Would you be operations or science, or would you be somewhere else?
Bridge Ops, Mr. Sulu's position. Thank you very much.
It's very, they don't. You're not. But if you're doing all that, it's a very serious business. You can't have any of this while you're on that station. They don't like it, you know.
No, I'm not an engineer. I'm not. I'm more of a pushy button man. So yeah,
a pushy button. I'll be on the pushy button station.
Yeah, I'm a pushy button man, not an engineer.
And last but by no means least, top of the bill, it's the one and only Bowlestrek here. Our mate Chris joined us, so yeah, good to have you back, mate. I can only imagine what rally of photon torpedoes you have ready. You have in the barrel, ready to deploy at our targets on this edition of the show. It's good to have you back.
Thanks, Dan. And in case anybody hasn't noticed, I've had an unplanned return to YouTube to express my complete and utter disgust with this thing we are going to be covering. And apparently, people are claiming I broke my own record for yelling in yesterday's video at the beginning. Yeah, so I'm now working on video number 2. Yeah, and
number 2.
That doesn't even do justice to what I just watched. We're all very excited.
Very excited. Although I don't know where I'd begin to look for the toilets on the USS Athena. Whether they've got a door anywhere here on this really shiny new bridge. Two view
airlock.
Dan, the toilet is going to be like
no toilets is what I'm observing there.
Actually,
well, I think they'll have different toilets depending. If you're a white male, you get a bucket in the corner, right?
I have a feeling that the
Or an
toilets are
agonizer
going to be
booth.
exactly like a
No.
scene that they have in the second
Here's what it
episode.
is. Because they have the technology now to where you can just like walk through a magic door and all of a sudden your grunge clothes are instantly changed to immaculate cadet clothes. What you do is you just walk through a door and it instantly empties out your bladder. You don't even really have to go to the bathroom. It's just
like
through
Mr.
the little
Ben.
magic door technology.
I know what it will do. If you've seen there's a scene in the second episode where when you throw something in the trash can, it actually starts playing the song, like the theme
Oh,
Star
I
Trek,
saw
the
that.
original series.
Yeah.
There's symbology there. I'm assuming it's something similar with the toilet. Not subtle at all, my friends. Not subtle.
But it's fine in lower decks or something like that. But in a live action Star Trek show, it's a bit weird. And as for the flora and fungi,
starboard.
yes, exactly. We're one step away. We're one step away from that. There's also flora and fungi sort of all around the place too. So if you have got hay fever, basically in the 31st century, you're fucked. But you can't even escape it out in space or at the Starfleet Academy. So I found this somewhat strange. I think it's meant to be an allegory for something for blossoms, things blossoming and growing. But I can't be bothered digging.
You just shit in the water because that then feeds the trees.
It's like circle of life thing, Rabbi. Yeah, but we've all gone a bit Lion King after all. So it could be deeper than need be. But I did wonder, when they're flying through space, what's going to happen to all that water? And more to the point, all the coprolites that are going to be nesting at the bottom, according to David. If people are pinching one off, it's going to build up, isn't it?
Jeez.
Oh.
Well, I think I can explain this for you. And for anything else, you'll find it confusing.
Oh.
See, this is what they call technically in television terms as mindless shit, right? Mindless shit. So nothing needs to matter or make sense because it's mindless shit. It's a real shame they did this to Star Trek. We used to be quite a smart show. This is mindless. Like everything in it is mindless shit.
So what you're saying is it's a good job we've got a choice of beverages to hand.
They're probably bad as well.
Where we're going to go. Look, it's not all bad news. I was delighted to see. We've all suffered losses, haven't we? I was delighted to see back at work Tig Notaro here back at work on Star Trek this week after obviously her very public and sad loss just a couple of weeks ago. So, obviously, all our best.
You're in dangerous territory, Dan. That is dangerous territory.
And with that, I would like to announce that Warp Drive Live has been canceled and removed from YouTube. It was a great 1 week and what are we? 32 minutes.
We're going to rebrand and be back
over the long
something
run.
else.
It was a good run. It's a good run.
We've managed 80 minutes. Okay, yes, so why are we here? Why now? Star Trek, of course, Gene Roddenberry's wagon train to the stars has entered now its 60th anniversary year. We're going to be comparing our take on the latest additions to his legacy. Believe it or not, the very latest screened missions. We know that's what you're here for, and we know that that's what Gene himself would have wanted. So, yeah, we're going to go there, right out there for Warp Drive, a Star Trek podcast back for a brand new, pimped up season. And, yeah, I'm more surprised than probably anybody else.
If only it was legacy.
If only. If only. So, yeah, we're going to have a look and see what's out there. There's people commenting on YouTube and Rumble as we speak. We'll be taking your reviews later on. And if some of you have been too scared to look, we've been there so you don't have to. And we'll be bringing our findings, our readings back to you. Of course, we will, all for Star Trek's 60th anniversary. You know, I was kind of delighted to see at the front of this brand new concept for the anniversary that they've given us this new fanfare featuring all those ships from Star Trek's past. You know, the stuff
those
that we
ones
liked.
are good.
The
However, when they
Defiant.
put the new ones in, you're like, "Oh, leave me alone."
Yes,
This was the one thing I liked about this, and then the show started.
And we're left us with the brand new starship, the USS Athena, sort of lurching towards us there. It looks like some sort of angry transformer, doesn't it? It's a bit strange. I'm not really sure.
It's
how I
one
feel
of the
about it.
worst designed starships I've ever seen. It really, genuinely is. It's
the com badge, isn't it? It looks like the badge.
Yeah, I don't like the wings.
No. I always thought Athena was a picture of a tennis lady scratching her bum with her arse on show.
Yeah. You don't want one of those with Holly Hunter. But how tall is Holly Hunter? She's like 3 feet 4 inches.
I think she's apparently she's not officially a dwarf, but she's fucking close.
It's so weird. Like everything about this, you go, wait, what? Like what? I don't understand. Like, how did this get greenlit? How much money did they spent? Like 18 million on this, didn't they?
17 million an episode, mate. Hey,
Like,
the starship.
That's
how do you do that?
That's the low ball estimate.
I think we're supposed to look. We're supposed to just look at the pretty things, aren't we, on screen and think, "Ooh," and have our eyes sort of rolling with wonder in the way that the original series used to make us. I mean, it didn't look good, did it? I think this poster was the one that set all our teeth itching whenever they released this, which was only about 6 or 7 weeks ago, wasn't it? We thought, "Oh my God, it didn't sound good. What on earth are they doing? Who is this aimed at? Is it going to be?"
The Beta Z chip become a regular character?
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
I haven't seen the last 10 minutes of the second episode yet. What difference does it make?
Yeah, Disney said
exactly what you think is going to happens, basically. Yes.
Well, Disney said that they threw $100 million at the BBC, and then Paramount said, "Hold my beer."
Apparently so.
Oh yes, and I can clarify. So from clockwise, I'll let you know my names for everybody. So we'll start with the Klingon. So these are my names. I will not use their actual names because I don't care. So the Klingon. So that's Brittany, the Shame of Kronos. Then next to him is the Hefty Graham. Then at the bottom, starting from the right, that's Toxic Timmy. Then we have Girl Boss Genesis. Then we have She-Hulk's Degenerate Kid, henceforth to be known as the Degenerate. And next to him is Cootie Pants, because we don't like heterosexual relationships on this show. So I'm just putting their message in for them. And and the captain is in video 1, she was Captain Marbles, but now I'm just naming her Mumbles.
Captain Marbles. Now, I have that problem with Strange New Worlds, really, because they've got the Doctor character in that, Dr. Magemba. He's always mumbling everything. I can never understand a word that guy says. And I find that with a lot of modern television. I mean, I'll try and keep your names in my head, but I've been struggling to remember who everybody is, bit by bit on this show, because it's quite a big cast, isn't it? Gradually, I'll sort of get used to it, but I think what will probably happen, Chris, is I will end up defaulting to your preferred names.
Well, her name's Genesis Live. I never even knew that was a character's name. Like, what the hell's that? Why she got such a weird name?
It's the most pretentious name I've ever heard, and this character is horrible. And I have a feeling this is just. I think she may get around a bit throughout this series. Yeah, and go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this show was cooked from the minute they decided to name the Klingon Jaden.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, it sounds like a star quarterback or something like that, doesn't it? Or it's
High School Musical, isn't it?
The thing that I loved about Star Trek from the 60s right through to the 90s was something that I think that Gene Roddenberry sort of instilled in the whole thing. All of the characters in those initial shows, and this is another thing I like about Strange New Worlds. we know them by their first names. You know, Riker is Will. It's Deanna. It's not really Troy. It's Jim. And Bones. You know, their nicknames or their real names, their first names. Yeah, there are exceptions to that. We didn't know Uhura's actual name for about 40 years. But apart from that, we know everybody by their first names. I think that was something that Roddenberry wanted to instill in the show, that no matter what their jobs were, what their duties were, or how far into the future we were, people were still humanized, whether they were human or not. Interpersonal relationships and connections between people were intimate. They weren't, even though they were in that sort of structured environment. And when they left that behind with Discovery, I think that's a main thing that New Trek has got wrong. A main thing, obviously, there's lots more. There's a lot more. We're polishing up our Trek knowledge and making sure that our comm badges are in the right place. Don't swallow them. Apparently, this can happen. So make sure it's still attached. It's not halfway down your throat. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Can barely wait to get into the rest of it. Let them fly. Let them fly.
Hey, right now, Loblaws is having a huge frozen food sale. You can get tremendous value on over 50 frozen food items, frozen vegetables, frozen meat entrees, frozen concentrated juices, ice cream. If it's frozen, you can save plenty. Don't get left out on the cold. Come on in and stock up that freezer. Loblaws frozen food sale. Another reason why more than the price is right. Does he work here?
You know, fun fact, they actually shot that commercial just before his second suicide attempt.
Really?
Rabbi,
listen to what I say.
I was
the
so hoping
Penguin suicide attempt.
No, the Shatner suicide attempt.
I was so hoping that he would turn around and give like a double Kirk chop to the Penguin. That would have been great.
We would love to. That commercial is from Canada, and Loblaws is a bit of a swear word in Canada right now because they've been robbing us blind. But what I was distracted by is that is not one of Shatner's better toupees.
It is.
Me
not.
too. That was a terrible toupee. It was wig, a crime against all hair pieces. That wig.
We live and we learn. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Here's William Shatner learning about the wonder of the computer age way back. He probably could have warned us if he was really from the future. He could have warned us about what was coming, but no. Okay, so we're talking about the brand new Star Trek live-action TV series. This has been created by Gaia Violo, believe it or not, for the streaming service Paramount Plus. It premiered on January the 15th, 2026, with two, not just one, two. Street Week, everybody. 2 brand new episodes. The further 8 of this first season will be released weekly all the way through until March the 12th. We have brand new graphics. We've got a very familiar font and a very large cast, led by Holly Hunter as Captain Nala Aki, another ridiculous name that nobody's going to be able to pronounce. So yeah, it'll just be the little sort of scratty woman. She looks like she's been living in a bog for the last 50 or 60 years. So it's led by Holly Hunter, who you'd think would have other things to do. It must have been a big payday for her. Filling out the cast are Sandro Roster, Karim Diane, Keris Brooks, George Hawkins, Bella Shepherd, Zoe Steiner, and positively slumming it, believe it or not. Maybe the conventions have dried up a little bit. They managed to rope in Robert Picardo, Voyager legend himself, again playing the Doctor, with various other supporting characters, including Tig Notaro, Oded Fair, Gina Yasher, Paul Giamatti. Really, what have they got on him? And Tatiana Maslany too. So it's quite a big cast. We've got 2 episodes to talk about.
Orphan Black.
That's the one. That's the one. So
She-Hulk.
we've got episode 1, Kids These Days, and episode 2, Beta Test, both arrive this week. And where do you start with this? We'll try and start with the first episode and kind of work our way through. But I think to look at the whole thing holistically is the wisest. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't looking forward to this show at all for a variety of reasons. I stopped watching Discovery at the end of season 3. I sort of valiantly struggled on the way all my way through that. I never watched another episode after that point. I haven't given the 31st Century a passing thought since, in my headcanon, Keith, I know you're a fan of headcanon, in my headcanon, the Discovery disappeared into that big sort of wibbly-wobbly black hole anomaly. It was sucked in, and at the loss of all hands, and that's where it all ended. And so there was no 31st century, and none of this stuff. But I have decided to venture back for this new series for reasons unknown. I'm more surprised than anybody else. So episode 1 is written by Gaia Violo themselves and directed by Alex Kurtzman. Here's the synopsis. It says, after being on the run since the age of 6, 21-year-old Caleb, a brilliant street kid, they're always brilliant, aren't they? They're never little shits. A brilliant street kid is offered the chance of a lifetime to join the first new Starfleet Academy class in San Francisco in over a century. There's just one problem. The person offering the spot is the newly minted Captain / Chancellor Nali Aki. See, I can't say that name. The Starfleet captain who sentenced his mother to Federation prison 15 years ago in the first place. So that's their way of instilling drama and stakes and pathos into really what is quite a simple scenario. Pretty people go to school. That's the crux of it, I think, Gary.
Well, Dan, first of all, let me say that I'm very happy to be on the show today because my new my new therapist has told me that who I hired in the wake of watching these this week, that talking about my trauma is very therapeutic. So I'm actually glad to have this opportunity to talk about this. Chris gave us the name for all the characters. My actual name for the show is Deep Space 90210. I think that might have been a better title for it. But I just, in a general sense, I just don't know why this show exists. I mean, this is one of the most pointless productions I think I've ever seen. It doesn't serve to help the Star Trek legacy. All the characters are cringe, a complete embarrassment. I think that there are two things that stand out, and that's all I'll say for the moment. One is that Holly Hunter, who, granted, I mean, I think she's been an Oscar winner, an award winner. She's considered a very fine actress, but she is fundamentally miscast in this role. Completely. Not only because of the height element, which she can't help. I mean, she's as tall as she is tall, but she exudes no sense of authority in this role, talking with anybody, whether cadets or the president or whoever. And the way that she curls up in her captain's chair, like she's about to curl up with a Harlequin novel by the fire on a winter's night, I almost wanted to throw my TV out there. It's like, you're kidding me.
Yeah, what are they doing?
But the thing that most took me out of it, and granted, this happened to me during the opening moments of the first episode of Picard as well. For a show that's supposed to take place in the 32nd century, and I apologize if I come off as kind of a prude here. For a show that takes place in the 32nd century, for everybody to be, I thought for a while that this was actually taking place in 2025, because everybody was like, oh, hey, bitch, or talking about this, or I got the shit kicked out of me, or the main character flips off the preppy guy at one point. They're playing hacky sack holographically out on the thing. It's like, they either think that makes this edgy, but it's like every time I hear that in a Star Trek production, and it was really prevalent during the pilot, I was instantly taken out. It's like, you're going to tell me that 1,200 years from now, they're still talking about, hey, bitch, and talking about getting the shit kicked out of you. Hey, Dan, I'm sorry if I sound prudish. I can't tell you how much I hate that.
Gary, I haven't made notes on this, but that was something that's been ringing loud and clear with me since I watched it, because in my view, Starfleet Academy isn't all bad, but it's far from all Star Trek either. And as soon as people start dropping various current day swear words, and as you say, you see them taking up current day pastimes as well. It was hard enough to believe that some of those would survive to the 24th century. The idea that they wouldn't to the 31st is absolutely ludicrous and a massive problem. It's one of the reasons why I couldn't stay with Discovery past that point, because it's so far into the future. None of this seems, I know it's a fantasy up to a point, but Star Trek is meant to be science fiction. And if it's an extension of the world that we saw in the 23rd and 24th century, where people didn't swear, the idea, as you say, that this guy, he is like, you've mentioned your fondness for Buck Rogers in the 21st century, in the 25th century. He feels like a bloke from 2026, who's been transported into the future to go to Starfleet Academy. And if that was the premise, then fine, but it's not the premise, and therefore I can't invest that he is where he's supposed to be, and I cannot accept this, therefore, as Star Trek, despite some of the production's good points, namely the fact that it looks incredible, that the money is, you can see where the money's gone, and some of the acting, acting is okay.
I don't think it looks incredible at all.
I'm not Rabbi. I'm not keen on the design of the ships and things like that.
Exactly,
that's not to my taste.
It's annoying.
But I think that the production values, they've put it all on screen. I think some of the sets, you can see. I think you can see where it's gone. It's not to my taste, though.
Yeah, I do hear. I mean, I think I can solve your point on confusion here, right? This is not for you. This is not for Star Trek fans. This is for a YA audience, right? And they're the ones that matter. And
that is viable, to be fair. That is a viable audience to go for.
Right, and it's just got a Star Trek coat of paint. It's like YA TV in the Star Trek universe, people who don't give a shit about Star Trek but want to do YA.
It's unfortunate, though, Rabbi. I agree with you, but it's unfortunate that Star Trek, which has always been kind of elevated over the rest of kind of genre television in terms of, the language has been kind of elevated, the stories have been kind of elevated, and now they seem to think that the way to kind of carry things forward is to kind of lower it. It's like lower it to like the street. Let's give it street cred.
Again, this is no connection to Star Trek.
Yeah,
right?
let's give it street.
This is a YA adventure. It's got no connection to Star Trek. They just use the shit. That's why. That's why. In the very well compared to Star Trek season 3, right? You had when you had everything, all the member bearers there. They weren't member bearers. They were there for the part of the story. Right? You had Moriarty was there. It made sense. I thought he was going to be like the AI. Right.
Well, I had this same reaction when they started dropping F-bombs in the first episode of Picard.
No, I don't.
Awful. But no,
I didn't like that. It fractured it.
Here, all the member bearers were just member bearers.
It was like
the thing with YA content. The thing with YA content, though, Keith, is that, and Gary's quite right. Why this? Who for? And why now? If they'd have made a show like this in the wake of The Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Scorch Trials, that sort of, in that bubble, this might have actually found an audience.
Yeah,
but in 2026, I don't see that happening.
It's like somebody went, "What if Hogwarts but Star Trek?"
Exactly.
It's kind of.
That's exactly the pitch. You were in the room.
Yeah, I mean,
I think personally that's viable. But again, I think that's a completely viable thing to do. YA Star Trek is also perfectly viable and sellable in and of itself. But when they produce this and they strip it of so much that is Star Trek, that's certainly where they lose me and where I would struggle in recommending it to anybody.
Oh, wait, one second.
Is anybody bothered by this picture, by the way, the fact that the Klingon's wearing a 20th century jogging jumper? Does that bother anybody else?
Well, there's pictures of Brittany wearing a dress later on, so it gets worse.
It comes back to... sorry,
it was so tropey, wasn't it? Like straight away, like within not long, we have that sort of extended prologue thing with the backstory for the main guy, and then but as soon as they've arrived, on the ship, on the Anthena or whatever, you've got the jock giving the Klingon guy a hard time, and then the main guy steps in and makes friends, and then you've got the sort of hot girl there's some chemistry there, maybe, and it's autistic, but it's nothing. There's nothing new here. It's so by the numbers. It's just
the idea is, Keith, I think, for people who wander across these streaming platforms and they see a tile on a screen next to a lot of other shows, and they think, oh, that guy looks cute, I might watch that. They might watch 2 or 3 of them on the bounce because it looks a little bit like something else they watch. I think that is a genuine demographic that they're going for. And it's, to be fair, it's not just Paramount that do this. All the streaming platforms do this, and I think it's driving the quality of any kind of live action entertainment through the floor. I really do.
The writing just isn't there, and it's like you said, yes, it's a very, design choices aside, we've got the modern look of Star Trek, and whether you like that or not, but the actual production qualities are there. To be fair, the acting is not awful, but the writing is terrible. And what I thought is, I was lamenting earlier about how watching Picard, gave me all those sort of old school Star Trek feels, but still telling a new story with some new characters as well. But what I felt with this is, those last 2 episodes of Star Trek Picard were directed by Terry Matalas, whereas these 2 episodes were directed by Alex Kurtzman, and my God, it shows.
Yes, I was going to say,
the difference.
It does.
Is like,
coming back off the point about the that you made, Gary, about the clothing and the language. Diachrony is diachronics is the use of language, how language changes over time. And I mentioned it last week about Rick Berman criticizing how modern day terms are used in Star Trek to give it a sort of now feeling. And we shouldn't be using modern day dress. We shouldn't be using words like fess up or phrases like fess up. And I also caught hangry at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Because they, and the swearing, because it anchors it in today's world. The best bit about the Star Trek universe was that its use of language was timeless. So there weren't really times whereby, unless it was Bones talking about what his old country doctor dad or whatever, or granddad would have said. It just feels like there is, as you said, Dan. It's just a YA sort of thing with Star Trek paint on it, and it. Yeah. To me, it was almost like a really poor person's version of Saved by the Bell in space.
Yes.
It does feel strangely outdated. I mean, somebody mentioned Harry Potter a moment ago, but to me, it actually fit. And I love Harry Potter. I think that's perfectly viable. I think the reason why Harry Potter works, it's the classic hero's journey sort of story, and you've got the sort of chosen one. There's the one character who's sort of overpowered. But in this. It's another thing I don't like about this. They're not a bunch of kind of ordinary kids who are going to this academy to make the best of themselves, to realize potential. They all seem to have, with the exception of the Klingon, next to superhuman abilities to one degree or another. And I noticed that everybody. Do you remember in The Next Generation, for example, you'd see Data use a control panel and he'd type really quickly and he'd be, he's an android man, he can type really quickly. But in New Trek, particularly this, and they did this in Discovery as well to a lesser degree, everybody does that. But they're meant to be real people. Also, everybody is built like a brick shithouse. I mean, that guy there on the right, Caleb, the lead character, he's more ripped than the Klingon in. Man is fucking huge.
There's a lot of gay masturbatory fantasy material there. Let me tell you.
They all feel superhuman. The girl, the android, what do they call her? The photonic girl, the hologram girl, Sam, can create light. Lovely. I thought that was a lovely character up until that point. Oh, so she's got special powers as well. The other guy can walk on the hull of a spacecraft without needing a space. It feels more like I'm watching the X-Men. It feels like I'm watching Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
And also, the other thing that really bothers me is the whole snark factor, right? That they have to have in these things. Like, you know, Starfleet was always something to aspire to be, you know, like those characters, and always something to you know, whereas what we've got in this is the students. I mean, I know Caleb's supposed to be a bit of a rebel and stuff. I get that, but the students give absolutely no respect to any of the authority, you know, any of the officers or the teachers or anything. It's all answering back with, you know, trying to do sort of Josh Whedon style quips and stuff. And, you know, Star Trek's been like this since Discovery, to be honest. And it just, yeah, well, it's not aimed at us, is it? It's not.
Well,
and
to be fair, Gary, can you blame them when these are the people they're meant to be looking up to? Is there a single member of the faculty that's not a lesbian, or is it my imagination?
All right, since you're showing this picture, I'm going to go ahead and say this now, since this is the picture you're showing, and being the absolute lover of Deep Space Nine that I am with this character, can I just say Ketracel White is not blood?
Exactly. Oh my god.
When she gets stabbed in the side and they pull it out and all this Ketracel White comes pouring out, it's like, okay, somebody has not seen Deep Space Nine ever, because Ketracel White was the drug they used, the Jem'Hadar, to enhance themselves. It was not their blood.
Yeah, and also on that note, actually, and again, you know, this is getting all kind of geeky about canon and continuity and stuff, I guess. But I didn't think that because she's supposed to be a crossbreed between Jem'Hadar and Klingon. Is that right?
Yes.
But was that not? Was that in Deep Space Nine? That's not possible, right?
No, it is not. They're genetically, the Jem'Hadar is genetically manufactured.
I suppose we are 600 years in the future.
Right.
That is true.
Well, Dan, we may be 600 years in the future, but does Ozempic not exist? Like, no, honestly, you'd think that the human race would have medical technology, you know, 1,000 years from now, would have improved, but no, somehow everybody's overweight. They don't even have a cure for deafness, because they're still using sign language in episode 2. So yeah, Jem'Hadar are not ladies. That's canon. They're clones. That's canon. Why are they reproducing with Klingons if that's the case? Again, I think, Gary, my view is they looked up some screenshots of DS9. Oh, we're gonna go with that. What's it called? I'm like,
Jem'Hadar.
And also, why are Betazoids using sign language? That's the other thing.
Well, I suppose some of them they could be deaf. I mean, the thing is,
but they're telepaths.
Exactly.
When we were gearing up to the launch of this series, particularly after the promo posters, and I know you shouldn't judge things on their posters. I'm a graphic designer. I notice these things, but everybody could see that. I expected that I would hate all of these kids. In reality, though, watching both of these episodes, I actually thought that all of them, despite their sort of abilities and things like that, which drives me around the bend, I thought that all the kids, the young people, the students were fine. Some of them were really well acted, nicely played, even if the script wasn't there. So I didn't have a problem with the kids at all in the end. I had a problem with the teachers. They were all, every single one of them, nauseating, miscast, poorly written, absolutely awful. And yes, so if I was a student, not only would I not respect them, but as a viewer, you simply can't invest in these authority figures at all. It just none of this works.
It just feels like a load of tick boxes, doesn't it? Really?
I hate to keep coming back.
It isn't even that. It looks like blind incompetence.
I hate to keep coming back to it, but as I said before, whatever Holly Hunter's undisputed talents in the movies that she's done, that's fine. Like I said, I think she's fundamentally miscast. She's no Janeway. She doesn't exude authority. So in every confrontation, whether it be the kids or anybody else, to me, she's going to lose because she just does not have any of the authority in this. And I swear that the scene of her curling up in the captain's chair did so much damage to whatever authority that she's going to try to have with this character. They can't be doing crap like that.
And Gary, I got the impression that was something that the actress had brought to the character. It probably wasn't in the script, and it just seemed to be coming from Holly Hunter herself. And that was the feeling I had watching both episodes. I think not only is she miscast, I don't think that she's comfortable in the role either. I think she was offered a lead role in a nice TV show with a good payday, probably something that she watched when she was a kid. Think, well, why not? You know, Patrick Stewart did this. If Patrick Stewart can do it, why can't I? But she's not right for the part, and she's ill at ease in this this world. And I think she does things like that to try and ground herself in the material somehow, because she doesn't believe in the character that she's playing. And I can see why, because it's not particularly well written. It's a cliche in most respects. And I know that we need archetypes, but I don't think archetypes and cliches are the same thing. Apparently, Holly Hunter's character, Rabbi, is the same race as the other insufferable dwarf-like character who runs engineering on Strange New Worlds, a Lithuanite or something like that.
Oh, that's the same thing as Whoopi Goldberg's character.
Oh, is she one of the same as well?
No, she's no. Whoopi Goldberg's character is a
Illyrian or something called.
Illyrian.
Yeah, but they said. Well, I remember when they introduced the other one. It was they said it was the same species.
Same as Carol Kane's character or whatever.
And also, Dan, I've got to ask, what is with the whole going barefoot thing?
Again, same thing. She doesn't believe in the character. I can guarantee that's something that's come from her. Gina Yashir, who plays that Jem'Hadar Klingon character, whose name I can't be bothered remembering. I have
Plumpy.
I've got to say, who plays Plumpy? A couple of years ago, they gave over the lead role of a huge geek sci-fi series, which name I won't mention. They gave over the lead role of that show to a woman who simply wasn't up to it, and put in the worst performance I'd ever seen in a lead role in a TV show ever. Never mind my favorite TV show of all time. I thought that I would not ever see a central performance worse than that in a big franchise show, until I saw Gina Yashir in this. This character, this performance is absolutely awful every time she's on screen. She fucks up every single line, tries to play everything for laughs, even when it's not meant to be funny. Absolutely unreservedly awful. And I can't believe that. I mean, apparently they're deep into filming season 2 of this. If she hasn't been fired by now, I don't know what anybody would need.
Oh, Dan, there's actually there's two surprisingly horrific performances in this. One is Plumpy. The other one is Brittany, the male Klingon. That performance is Jesus Christ. It sounds like a kid trying to sound like a Klingon. But to go back to Mumbles, Captain Mumbles, there's a scene that's even more pathetic at the end of episode 1 when Giamatti is on the bridge, and there's a scene where she's curled up in her chair, kind of leaning backwards in fear, and he's right in her face. I'm like, could you imagine even the terrible captains that we've had, any former captain doing that?
Oh, that's awful.
Another a quick thing in the second episode which is the negotiating with the Beta Z thing. I don't know why they made the creative decision, and I guess he's going to be a regular because he was in both the first and second episode. I guess, is he the president of the Federation, the guy who's there at the podium a lot, leading the negotiations?
He was in Discovery too, wasn't he?
Okay, he comes off because he's trying to negotiate and talking about the Federation principles and everything. He comes off as a much more, authoritative, in command figure, but they have him next to Holly Hunter, and that does her no good service at all, because he's the one that kind of shines in terms of his I'm so hesitant to use the gravitas word anymore, but he's the one that has the presence and the command feeling, and to put her next to him is just not
he hasn't actually got any gravitas himself either, but because he looks capable and he's able to sort of to embody the part reasonably well, he gives over the appearance of competency.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is that when the president has a conversation with the chancellor, with Holly Hunter's character, they're both mumbling. I can't understand a frigging word either of them are saying. I can't. Oh, is it just me?
No, I can't understand a thing Mumbles is saying, which is why she mumbles. But even like some of the, you can only suspend your disbelief so much. In the second episode, they're trying to negotiate for Bajor to come back into the Federation.
Beta Z.
And what did I say?
You said Bajor.
Bajor. Oh, okay. It's my brain has stopped.
Beta Z.
Beta Z. Yes, it's I've been.
It's a B. It's a B word
for 2 days. Yeah. I almost said Bajor again. Beta Z. So they're negotiating to get Beta Z back in, and during these negotiations, so the negotiations are taking place in front of a bunch of teenagers, and while they bring in She-Hulk's degenerate kid. Right to the front row. This is right after he's covered in bird poop or whatever that stuff was. And he starts playing with his zipper in the middle of negotiations to get Beta Z back into the Federation.
Unbelievably
like you can only suspend disbelief so much. Who does that? Who even writes that?
Yeah.
It's a YA thing. Again, it's not Star Trek. You keep going, where's the logic and reason why it doesn't make sense? It's not,
Rabbi,
it's not Star Trek.
Rabbi, Star Trek. Well, here's where they're going to lose. Star Trek is not a YA series, and Star Trek is a show that I think has a shelf life because most Star Trek fans are over the age of 40. It has never caught on with the younger generations, even though they've been trying to do it for 9 years now. This is a show whose fan base now skews to an older demographic. The young people are not interested in this because it's not a 30-second TikTok video. You're never going to get that audience. This is what I said a few months ago.
Chris, it's been absent, barring a couple. The last movie was 10 years ago. Nobody's watched any of these new Star Trek shows broadly, so it's been absent from relevance for decades. At this point, Paul Giamatti, you can tell he's in this because it's Star Trek. He's having the time of his life doing whatever it is he's doing in this. He's fantastic. He's having a brilliant time. He plays this part really well. It's a very pantomime-esque performance, but it's a pantomime-esque part.
He knows what he's in.
Yeah, Amanda Plummer was exactly the same in Picard season 3, and we gave her due credit for that. I think Giamatti deserves credit for this. He's been fun so far, but he's in it because it's Star Trek, and he remembers it when he was a kid. You're quite right. The modern generation don't know what it is. This was their chance to reach out and grab them, and they have. I think that it could work. I think they could grab it. This format. This premise has been around for a really long time. There was plans to launch a series before. There was plans to do a film before Starfleet Academy. Yep. We've had 2 comic book series, one from Marvel and one from IDW. And in the pocket book range, they also told some Starfleet Academy stories, like in the 90s, I think this was, or maybe even the 80s, where we had the Next Gen range, Gary. And these, I don't know how well they sold, but Star Trek did big business for pocket books. They must have done okay because they made enough of them.
Yeah, they did that Starfleet Academy, the one on the right. I read several of those. They did like 3 with Worf, and they did a couple with Data, one with Crusher. So they kind of spread the wealth in terms of, basically like the various next geners at the Academy. For the comic series, that Marvel comic series was actually really good.
I like that.
They had a lot of really good characters. There was one that turned out to be kind of a traitor. Rom was the central character from Deep Space Nine. They had an Andorian, and that was actually a really well-written issue. The one thing about the Academy set itself, which, and I know Rabbi said that the set didn't look good. I'm sure that if we had a chance to kind of walk around the actual set, it really would kind of look impressive, even with the wall of names with all of the wrong ranks, with all of the questionable ranks. But the one thing about the Academy itself, which I would run screaming, is because in some ways it looks like a mall, And those incessant announcements.
Yes.
Hi,
I know.
cadets. Now in the cafeteria we have Roctagino, so come get some.
And you know
what is
when
with
does
all the
capitalism
mall
come
the mall announcements constantly about attention shoppers?
Well, you know who they Gary, you know who they have doing those announcements, right? That's Stephen Colbert. He's in he's in the main credits.
Who is Stephen Colbert?
You really don't know?
He is a very left-wing late night talk show host here in the US.
He's a woke nightmare. Like just he took over David Letterman's show. And he turned it into a woke disaster. Like the guy's a joke. But what I was saying earlier is, as you'll know, I had been pleading with Skydance not to release this on the show. That apparently they didn't listen to my warnings. But here's what I was worried about. Like I think a franchise can only take so much. You know, I think that British show we don't mention by name has passed that point. I figured that after Discovery in Section 31, there was still hope after Picard and the good episodes of Strange New Worlds. But my view had always been one more misstep and it's done. But here is the missed opportunity, kind of going on what I was said before. Star Trek will never work with a young audience. It's too stuffy for them. It's an idea from the 1960s, and they don't watch programs like this anymore, whether it be episodic, whether it be serialized. This is done. If they wanted to make Star Trek successful, they needed to go with Legacy, which instead of Legacy, and remember when this was announced, we were all hoping for Legacy, and then they announced this. So we could have had Legacy. They decided to go with Starfleet Academy instead. Not only is this not going to attract the audience they want, but for older Star Trek fans, and yes, your average Star Trek fan is over 40. That's a fact. That's me being pragmatic about things.
Yeah.
It's an older audience. You know, you've got two groups. You've got, boomers that grew up with the original series, and you have Gen X and older millennials that grew up with Star Trek from the Next Generation up through Enterprise. Those are your two fan bases, two completely different groups of people, but all of them older. Even if this had been done, like let's say, Buffy did it successfully, even though I don't think it's aged very well, but that's a whole other discussion altogether. A show like Buffy or Harry Potter or Maze Runner or Hunger Games or anything like that, it's fine within that. This does not work within Star Trek. And the actual Star Trek fans, so the boomers that are now in their 70s that grew up with the original series, Gen X and millennials, 40s and 50s that grew up with the Next Generation, they have no interest whatsoever in watching a bunch of Zoomers go to college. That alone, and maybe it's because I'm an old bastard, I really don't care. Make fun of me for being old if you want. That whole concept, like, I do not want to watch a bunch of 20-year-olds. I am sorry.
Chris, if you were 20, actually, no, forget 20. But if you were any age between, say, 14 and, say, 23, 24, and you saw a show advertised that's got the word Academy in the title, would you watch it? You're either at school yourself or you've just got out of school. The last thing you want to do is watch something which sounds so stuffy. I think they might have done better had they called it Star Trek Athena or something else.
Well, Dan, I think that the problem is, if I'm like 18 to 24, and I'm very glad I'm not. I actually feel sorry for especially males in that age group. Like, good God, it's a horror show. So I do feel bad for them. But if I'm okay, so let's say we're going back to a few decades, and we're basically going back to a different century. I'm in my early 20s, but I'm existing now in this reality. I would find most people my age group to be completely insufferable, especially if I'm a male, because I think most of us know what they're dealing with right now, specifically young men in their early 20s. I would not want to watch a show that focuses on these people. I would want to get as far away from that as possible. And this show, and they could have done what Star Trek used to do, which is make it Red Letter Media actually put out a video this week where they were talking about Deep Space Nine, but they drove home the point. Where Star Trek up to and including Enterprise, aside from some of the hairstyles, which become dated, and maybe some of the effects. The shows are largely timeless, and that was done on purpose, and that was part of the appeal. If say Deep Space, I would have been around the age of these young people now, when Deep Space Nine was like, the king of Star Trek. I would not have wanted late 90s lingo, whatever, in Deep Space Nine. That would have completely turned me off. It's escapism. Like, back in those days, I was going to university. I didn't want to experience university life in my TV show. I did that during the day. And it's a very, very different climate now between, say, when we were that age in the 90s compared to what it is now. Yeah. And the name Star Trek, if I'm, 20 in current year, the name Star Trek itself is stuffy because that's your grandparents' original series. That's your parents' Next Generation. I think Star Trek really does have a shelf life. I think it appeals to a certain group. I think it's an older group. I think the idea probably will never resonate with younger people. And the fact, if I were a young man right now, I would be completely turned off at everything to do with this show because it reflects the absolute horror show of modern life. So I think on every level possible, I think this show is an absolute misstep. And I still hold to it. I think the brand damage that this show is going to do to the Star Trek franchise could be the thing that ends the franchise. I said this 3 years ago when it was first announced. I said this 2 years ago. I was saying this 6 months ago. Yeah. I knew exactly what they were going to do with the show.
Everything's got a limit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like
I have a show you could call Starfleet Academy that everybody would want to watch. Right? It's like a docudrama of how this got made, of every layer of insane incompetency over insane incompetency. I've been
wondering,
how did this scale up? Right?
I've been wondering how did this get made?
Story, how it made it to screen.
But
how did this get made, Rabbi? And I'm convinced, Keith, that it's just like Section 31. The only reason this got made is because it was Alex Kurtzman's idea. He had the idea several years ago, and he couldn't let it go. He was going to make this, whether it was feasible, viable, wise, commercially sound or not. He was going to make this, and therefore going to make this massive mistake.
How is that contractually possible?
Well,
what do you?
How did somebody go? Yeah, let's spend 17 million.
Because he had control over it, and he got an extended period of time whereby Secret Hideout were locked into Paramount. Which I know that's now.
Netflix in the Warner deal. Right,
he had time. He had a massive reserve of money, and there was nobody else who wanted to do it. I mean, what do you think, Keith? Why did this?
The whole Kurtzman. I mean, I've already said Terry Matalas clearly loves Star Trek, and I think Star Trek Legacy would have been a really good idea because it would have got us out of the pre-coitus thing. It would have got us beyond, into the 24th century, but not quite as far forward as this stuff.
And Keith, I'd have bought this if they'd have set this after Picard season 3. You could have even have said, okay, I'll accept young people may now and again use old swear words, and then they'd get out of the habit. I might have bought it. Because that's where our hearts lie back in the 25th century with those characters.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the thing, first of all, the point about Star Trek being timeless. I mean, that is exactly what Gene Roddenberry wanted, because it wasn't until the actual Star Trek movies that they started giving years to when it was set. Before, it was always supposed to be sometime in the future, hence the Stardate thing. Right. So it's supposed to be timeless. But what the problem I've got with I've got lots of problems with the writing, but what I don't understand is in this 32nd century post the burn thing that we've had that was set up in Discovery and carries through to this. I don't know whether it's just me that sees this, but it's almost like the Starfleet and the Federation are kind of written as bad guys.
Yeah.
Do you feel that? I mean,
I had a major problem with that.
Yeah,
a major problem.
Basically, Starfleet look, you know, the thing about the mother and the son and all of that, it just makes Starfleet look, you know, like terrible. And I guess that's as a result of this whole.
They're framing those characters. They're framing those characters as being kind of modern, you know, refugees. I don't like to. We shouldn't review television and give it a pass for the things that it isn't. I didn't find either of these episodes particularly woke, for example. I'm sure that's coming, but so far this doesn't feel like a woke show as such. But I do wonder that there are things coming in from the corners that are being set up to look at modern day political situations, like global political situations, to make some sort of statement about them. And specifically to do with refugees in some quarter, looking back to those characters. And there's probably more that's going to come up as well at some point later on. I've no doubt they're not going to be able to help themselves.
Well,
can I just step in on, if I may, on Keith's last point and the woke point, Dan? Sorry, Gary. If I may.
No, go ahead.
I didn't write much down. Okay, or make a note of afterwards, because I don't like to take notes when I'm watching stuff, because I just want to be immersed in the experience. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but I had a major issue, as Keith did, with the Federation, and I think Chris said he did, with the Federation being portrayed as the bad guys, so to speak. I sat down and I thought, all right, okay, so this is going to be the backstory. And I had to ask myself, is this the way that Roddenberry envisaged how the Federation should be?
No.
And I could not at any point say yes. I was exactly no. And I was exactly like that. Deanna Troy, if you could have seen me on my sofa. And I had major issues with Chancellor, as Red Wolf used to say, with the way that she dealt with that situation. And I, at no point could I say, would Kirk, would Picard, would Cisco, would Janeway have dealt with the situation in that manner? Not on your life. It would have been mum and son together, and it would have been, well, we're going to sort of look the other way at what happened because you were trying to do the best for your son, and you were duped by the sort of like scenery eating baddie, in that sort of situation. And I got to the point whereby I was saying, dramatically, this doesn't work. Dramatically, there are major flaws here. In Star Trek universe, this is against every principle that Roddenberry designed. Hopeful, yes, there are challenges, but this is our way of life, and this is how we're going to be. We're not going to be judgmental. We're not going to be anything like that. We're going to be positive, and we're going to be kind. And I know the hashtag Be Kind lobby are probably the most hypocritical going of people. However, for me, the identity failed dramatically. The identity I didn't think was Star Trek at all. And I just thought, what the hell am I watching here? Because it doesn't make any sense.
David, I want to ask, as a vintage classic Star Trek fan, do you feel that Robert Picardo came out of this with any dignity, at least? Because he's brought back to play the same, it's recognizably the same character, the same mannerisms. He plays it exactly the same way. And the character does seem to be afforded a certain amount of respect. He's got a relatively big role in this for an actor who's far from a household name, who didn't go on to do lots of things after Voyager and things like that. Because this week, it marks the 30th anniversary of the debut of Voyager. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And Robert Picardo, you know, he's done other things, various movies that we've all seen him in.
The
but
80s
he's been very
canon.
loyal. He's been very loyal to this character, hasn't he? And I think he's actually quite good in this. But he's the only white male authority figure in this.
Actually, Dan, that's the point that I was going to make when you're talking about, you know, the show being not woke. It is, I suppose, in the content it isn't, but in one realm, this is one of the most woke things I've ever seen, and Picardo is the one exception to this. And this was done purposely. If you look at when a lot of this was done, is in terms of the casting, in terms of the characters, this has DEI all over it. I was wondering,
Chris, because I wondered, have they decided that the only male it's safe to have amongst all these young people is a hologram one, because they know we can't molest
hologram.
anybody.
Well, even I call him Toxic Timmy, but even he's an alien, so he's not an actual white dude.
I suppose.
But I was working on my video for the second episode. I'm like very early into it right now, but I was taking little time, just writing down timestamps for screen grabs that I'm going to take. But they're showing pictures of the cadets and the Army cadets, and I was looking at them, so massive group shots, and I looked, I'm like, there are no white males anywhere to be seen in these massive group shots. And I'm like, so I'm going to play a game where
they all died in the burn, Chris.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to make my own version of Where's Waldo, find the white guy in these group shots. But it's so that's where this is woke, Dan, and I think this was also the central woke point on Discovery as well, where the wokeness is actually in the casting. I think those scenes are done deliberately because these are very vindictive people. Kurtzman is a very, very, very angry little man, and he seems to have a grudge against certain demographics. I have no idea why. These people are very special, but when I was looking at it, I'm like, it's so obvious, like it's blatant, like with these group shots. It's like, we're gonna make it clear that, okay, you got all these cadets, no white dudes. I'm like, you have the doctor and you have Toxic Timmy, who's actually a purple alien. Literally the only way they could get away with one of the other cast members being a white dude is he's not an actual white dude. He's a purple alien wearing a mask. So that's part of the problem. That's why I was looking at Picardo. It's like he's the token white dude, and also we know that Picardo unfortunately is woke as hell. Whether he is legitimately or not, or putting on a show, because
he's very proud. He's very proud to be on this show, and obviously in regular work.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, does he come out of this with his dignity intact? Is my question, David and Chris.
Yeah. You see, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that he might be the only, white guy in a position of power. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't. That's not how I don't view things like that way. That's just the way I am. And what I felt is that I felt embarrassed for him a little bit, a bit like you would do an old uncle at a party. Because I felt the material he was given was very poor, and he did his best with the material he was given.
Yeah,
and it's like dating an ex-girlfriend. You soon remember why that you split up after a while. And whilst I have no problem with him, and I loved his holodoctor in Voyager, and I loved his little cameo in Star Trek First Contact. I thought that was amazing.
I forgot that.
But I think it should have been Let Sleeping Dogs Lie, because whilst I love the man, okay, and I love the portrayal of his holodoctor in Voyager, it was very much of its time. And okay, they've come up with a sort of like get out of jail free card to explain why he was in there, but I just feel that it was a sort of dare I say it, member berry for those older fans.
Yeah,
To try and give us a sort of like a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down.
Yeah,
and
I agree with David totally. Yeah,
about the I think overall he kind of comes off the least. He comes off relatively unscathed in this. One of the questions that I had, and that I want to make a comment about the Rabbi and Chris's point about this being an YA show, which I agree with. But I want to say that I'm pretty much baffled by, I don't know her name, I can't remember her name, the girl with the Mickey Mouse ears for the hair.
The hologram.
Why does a hologram need to be a cadet in training? Wouldn't they just download whatever she needs to know into her program?
Gary, I have an answer for that.
Gary, I actually have a much better question. Why is a hologram who can choose to look like anything look like a fat
Rabbi, yes.
Why? Like, let's go.
But
for
it's
that,
like, why make her a hologram? But I do want to.
You want? I'm going. That's the way you're going.
I do want to address the YA point, which I agree. I think that both Rabbi and Chris made valid points about this being a YA show. But even given that, my question would be, even if it's a YA show, why would you not want to give characters, if identifiability, quote unquote, is their big thing they're going for, why wouldn't they at least try to create characters in the audience's age range who are admirable or strong characters, or characters that you can aspire to? It's almost as if like they think, okay, well, if it's a YA show, so that means we have to have somebody obnoxiously rebellious, because that's what YA that's what that age range is. We've got to have somebody disrespectful of authority and all that, because that's what the kids are, because they'll identify. So let's have the characters who were rebellious and disrespectful to authority and obnoxious, because that's what the audience is. I think that's actually pretty insulting. Why not give them characters they can aspire to?
Yeah, that was my whole point earlier when I said that Starfleet and the Federation, should be something that individuals aspire to be, and go, and therefore the teachers that they've got should be characters that you really look up to and want to lead and all of this sort of thing. And this is where I feel personally that the writers of this current era of Star Trek, in my opinion, have just missed the point, because this doesn't have that. Instead, it's I just don't know, and it's trying to be funny as well. That's the other thing I don't get. I know Star Trek's always had comedy. I get that.
But it hasn't been the basis.
This is wah stuff.
Keith, remember in the second episode? Remember Keith in the second episode where the Betazoid commander, I guess is the commander, or chancellor, whoever the deaf guy was, says, "Wait, don't all of your cadets have to go through like the rigorous psychological training and this and that, and what to even be here?" Remember when he says that?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me that the girl who thinks she swallowed her comm badge went through all of this intense psychological training just to even be a cadet?
That was their attempt at representing people on the autistic spectrum.
Gary,
that is how prejudiced these people are. That's how little they know about the things that they are writing on.
Well, there's another example that I think in the second episode that's even worse than the comm badge. You literally have a cadet run away because Plumpy was yelling at her. Yeah. But here's another important point as to how this hasn't worked, because I don't think we'll ever get the actual streaming numbers. But this, for those of you who don't know, this was available for free on YouTube in at least the US. And there were two videos that went live at pretty much the same time that actually buried this. I think last time I checked, it got to 177.
I've already got the details.
Yeah, well, one was Red Letter Media, I think to coincide almost exactly with when this started, put up a video about Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
it absolutely, I think it's well over 500,000 views now. It absolutely buried it. But our good friend Gary, NerdRotic, is actually he made Fox News because of this. He put up a live stream of Spock sitting in an invisible chair, and that's all the live stream was. And it actually beat the actual live stream of this episode. People didn't even want to watch it for free.
It is a protest. It's a protest movement up to a point, but it absolutely proves it.
And here's the hypocrisy as well that you just pointed out there. So, you know, they have a neurodiverse character, which you know, absolutely should be included in that. But they have that character run away, right? But rather than resolving it, they have them run past a member berry because they have the Boothbury Gardens or whatever it is.
Stuff is everywhere, isn't it?
Instead of dealing with the point, that, you know, instead of dealing with an issue, which could be a good bit of writing, could be.
Nobody deals with their issues in new Star Trek, Keith. The idea we're meant to accept people and their issues, the thing for what they are, and they can never overcome them. The idea is that they're all accepted, and they never learn to meet challenges head on. It's the challenges are kind of brought down to their level.
But they made a student run away because she barked.
It was just,
and all that.
it was just
to create Star Trek. She would have gone and dealt with that.
Yeah, they're not thinking. They're not thinking on that level, and they're not thinking further into the future than the very next scene. I mean, one of the things that I liked about this, that I appreciated about this, because obviously I haven't watched anything since Discovery Season 3. Discovery was a relentlessly miserable show that took itself far too seriously. Everything that it was saying was preposterous. The writing was god-awful. The characters impossible to relate to. Everybody was as miserable as sin. You always had a bad time watching that show. Here, with Starfleet Academy, I got the sense that they were trying to amuse us. Now, Strange New Worlds can be funny, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But generally speaking, because the actors are, for the most part, quite good, and because the show is sort of better put together, I accept it. And I wouldn't say I've ever been in fits of laughter watching that, but it can be amusing. They try to do that with this as well. And so I like the fact that they want to entertain us, they want to amuse us. But unfortunately, the people writing it have got no sense of what comedy actually is and what's an appropriate situation to put a character in where we may laugh in the moment, but actually when it's sort of framing around a point, an aspect of their lives and their being that is important and that people are going to relate to. And as you say, Keith, they trade off it for the cheapest laughs possible just to connect us to the very next scene. So it's also superficial and the very opposite of what Gene Roddenberry was meant to be saying about infinite diversity and infinite combinations. It's the total opposite of that which it's pretending to be.
Yeah,
I totally, Dan, as I was listening to you talk, I realized that this basically is like a goldfish show. That really you can only enjoy it if you can't remember more than 30 seconds in the past, because you're right that the scenes don't connect to each other. For example, in the pilot, the show, what do they call it? The Athena undergoes this catastrophic damage. You know, we see it blown to hell and back, you know, when it's being and so they do scrape off all the little space barnacles on it. Do we see any trace of all of that damage when it lands there in San Francisco? No, it's like that attack never happened.
Oh,
you know,
we've got to talk about that landing as well. We've got to talk about that.
It's the source of separation all over again, Keith.
Yeah, but no, the music.
If you're going to San Francisco,
I thought I was actually going to vomit on the living room floor when I heard that.
Yeah, I must admit,
that's a modern trope that I mean, you love music as well, David. I love music, but this is something I dislike about modern television. They brought it into everything when there will be contemporary music or some piece of music sung by somebody we're meant to be impressed by. Alison Goldfrapp, for example, recently sang a David Bowie cover for a show at Disney Plus and BBC thing called The War Between the Land and the Sea. Exactly the same kind of thing. And it was meant to move us in some way. And some people, that does work for a lot of people because I speak to them. It doesn't work for me at all. It's a marker of modern sensibilities that I've had to accept that I'm simply not of the right generation for. So there's that. And then there's the other fact that, you've got those sequences where the Doctor is performing opera, Rabbi, in the background, and he's there warbling on. I can't stand any of that stuff anyway.
That's the only reason
there's people, but there's people acting, Rabbi, at the forefront, right? And then in the background, you're trying to listen. They're all mumbling anyway, so you can't understand what they're saying. To make it even worse, you've got people singing opera behind it. As that's going on too, the camera never stands still, so you're going round and round like that. It's like a massive sort of sensory overload.
Okay,
what
that's
am I watching?
Explain. Okay, Kurtzman is.
But those are modern sensibilities. But those, Rabbi. What I'm saying is all of those things: constantly moving cameras, multi-different sort of depths and layers of noise, and the contemporary kind of music that Gary was mentioning. All those things are meant to delight us. To me, it's just a confection that makes me feel nauseous.
Again, Dan, I think your problem is, and the rest of the panel, the problem is you're too shackled to logic and reason. All right? It's just like, you just got to give up on those things. None of this, like how this got made again.
So it wasn't just me then.
Who went? Yeah, no.
I heard when I heard that music, the first thing I thought of is like, well, I guess nobody's going to write any good songs about San Francisco in the next 1,200 years because they have to default to something from 1969.
I don't think anybody writes songs anymore.
I actually went in because I, like I said to you, I wasn't going to watch this at all, and I watched, I binge watched Picard season 3, and I thought, okay, let's do it. And then I was like, oh my god, they're both an hour long each. This is like a full 2 hours.
Well, yeah, I guess they're there.
And I went in I tried to go in with an open mind, and I tried to go in to like it. But I don't know about you guys. I found that the 9 hours of watching the 10 episodes of Picard flew by, but I found the 2 hours of getting through this.
Keith, that's nothing, dude. I think because I've stupidly decided I'm going to be making videos out of this, and I'm sure you've all heard what my process is like for making videos when I cover that other British show that we will not mention. But the average production time on one of my videos is about 12 hours. So it's more than 2 hours. So we're looking at like 24 hours for these 2 episodes. It's watching the episode, then going through the hell of watching the episode again while writing my script. Then it's recording my script, editing things. Then it's going through the episode yet again a third time to get screen caps. So it's literally I'm going through each of these episodes 3 times. I almost have them memorized. By the time I'm done, I am in hell.
Yeah, but the trouble is, the problem with that is your by watch. You see, this is why I kind of don't really want to watch any more beyond this now, because I feel like by watching it, I'm supporting Kirk and Trek, and I don't want to because it doesn't deserve to be supported because it is poorly managed. It's poorly managed, and it really annoys me that somebody can actually have the power to do this and just produce this sort of stuff. It's I mean, okay, this wasn't as bad as Section 31, I'll give it that, but
I don't know.
Still,
it was way better than Section 31. I think it's fair to say that, but we can't judge something. We can't judge something based on the fact that other things are far worse. I mean, episode 2 was called Beta Test. That was written by Noga Landau and Jane Maggs, again directed by Alex Kurtzman. The plot of this was that Caleb's unease about his future at Starfleet Academy persists. But when a delegation from a former Federation ally arrives and Caleb is tasked with showing their leader's daughter around the campus, he must put that uncertainty aside to discover what life at the Academy is really about. Make it sound very profound, don't they? And this does put quite a lot on this young actor who plays Caleb. And I thought he was quite good in this, to be fair. And I thought that the girl playing the Beta Z sort of princess character, I thought she was quite charming as well. And the framing of this, I thought was quite. Again, when it started, I thought, I understand this. I like the fact they're reaching into Star Trek lore. I didn't the stuff about the Beta Z having annexed themselves after the burn and sealed themselves off. I found that very interesting. I thought this character was quite relatable. I like the fact they went intimate with it, but it seemed to fall apart again in record time. So whilst this has a lot of the same problems that the first episode had, I think it was slightly better, but not by a great deal.
I agree. I thought this actress was very good. I did honestly like this character. I wasn't sure she's going to be a regular. It seems like she is. I'm totally fine with that. I wasn't sure about the whole, I've got to wear this dampener because I can hurt people. I don't know. I guess
I didn't quite catch that.
Can you hurt people by reading their minds too loudly or something? I wasn't really sure about that. But no, I'm all for this character saying. I mean, I think she's, to me, the most likable of all the other cadets.
I have to put my hand up.
There's some decent acting from. There's some decent acting from the students, and I thought that she was particularly good. Sorry, David, what were you going to say?
So I have to put my hand up and say I wasn't able to watch the second episode because my sadly Paramount app on Sky failed. So I didn't have time to.
Well, you're putting your foot through the TV screen didn't help either.
You a favor.
But I am going to continue watching, and I'm really interested in your take on the second episode. So,
like a lot of. It's not rocket science, and the thing is, it's hard. You can't really spoil something like this, can you, Rabbi? Because the story goes largely where you expect it to go.
Right. Most interesting thing and biggest surprise is her heels. Did you notice them? They weren't. They didn't go up normally, right? They went. They went.
Oh, really?
Weird.
See, now I'm a boob man. I go.
Me
I'm
too.
more a boob man.
She's no Deanna Troi. That's what I said.
But she had spectacular legs. I did notice that.
She did. But again, she's no Deanna Troi.
I like this. I like this. This was good.
What is this? What is this, Gary?
It's from Prodigy. It's from Prodigy. It's one of the characters in Prodigy.
Looks like one of the things that I got into after I drank about 16 pints of Snake.
I'll let you into a secret. I did actually know that, but I think people get bored with listening to me talking, so I thought you'd like to explain. What is this character and where my people have seen it?
In Prodigy, I'm blanking on the species. And I don't know if this is either supposed to be the same character or just from the same race, but I think that this was their way to kind of tie all the shows together.
Gotcha.
Agreed.
We may be seeing other characters from Prodigy.
It's nice that they're doing that for the people who are invested in that show.
Mark Leonard by AI is going to play a Romulan.
Who is?
Mark Leonard. No, I'm joking. It's like if they're tying everything together. I've been playing an Andorian.
I will say that the one thing, as long as we're talking about the specific cadets here, the one thing that really offended me as a Star Trek fan was, and this is a character that appeared in both episodes. Let's go back to the original series, one of the more memorable ones, even if you're a non-fan, the episode "Let That Be Your Last Battlefield" with the half black, half white.
Oh yeah, I knew you were going to mention that.
Two last survivors of their race, and they end up going on the planet. Do you think hate's all they have? No, but that's all they have left. Two lone survivors of a dead race, other than those two who are both males. And all of a sudden now we have a female cadet, and I'm going,
well, Gary,
all I can think of
is
I'm sorry, I know this is controversial. Men can't get pregnant. I know that's controversial to say, but I'm going to go ahead and
Gary,
put that out.
No matter how hard
this is Kurtzman's future. I'm sure in Kurtzman's future they found a way to make that a thing. Have you ever seen Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No,
yeah,
I made the mistake of seeing that in the theater.
I
guess it's possible.
A surviving colony, right? You could say there's a surviving colony in the future. Okay, or they some race, some godlike race found their DNA and brought them back.
No,
any shit can happen. It's Star Trek.
Hey, Rabbi, if somebody can bring back humpback whales, then they can do that. You might be right.
The whales are here.
It's just
Gary's
using,
fan service when they
please.
don't really know what the. Again, it's just. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we put this in and they don't do any fucking research on it to actually.
This was fine conceptually. The big problem is the proportions are all wrong.
Also,
that whale should be a hell of a
her
lot
legs
bigger.
and her arse, you mean? Or
I mean,
why is there
compared
not
to
that whale in
the two of them, especially if that whale's supposed to be pregnant, that whale should be a hell of a lot bigger.
Well, also, why is the whale in captivity? I thought the whole point was to have them not be in captivity.
Oh no, I didn't. I actually, honestly, Chris, I didn't think it was captivity. I thought that's just the part of the outside on the ocean that room accesses.
They just live there.
I thought it was captive. Well,
no, I just thought they're looking out onto the open ocean.
Okay, but Gary, why were they in trouble for being down there?
Rabbi, sorry, Rabbi. Rabbi, sorry, what was that, Rabbi?
Why were they in trouble when they were down there? Like, what's wrong with that? Oh, fuck me, I hated this fan service. That was a shit episode. And they brought it back.
Okay. Oh, dear God, I didn't even notice that. They're still using those like 1,000 years later?
The evolution thing.
But
they move around quicker now. Now they're red.
A really important point that really I had a lot of trouble with, just coming off Gary's last point about let that be our last battlefield.
Yes.
How did they train Starfleet officers if this was the first academy intake in the last 120 years? How were they previously trained? Because I couldn't get over that, and unless it was mentioned.
That was part of Discovery, but I haven't seen it.
My theory is they have like their military people, which I guess they'd been trained. And this is now this makes probably too much sense for it to be an actual part of this show, but this would be my theory. They have like their army people who are also quite diverse. So rather than Star Trek, or rather than Starfleet Academy, they'd been training people for Earth defense. So I'm assuming that it's the
War College. Was it a War College they called?
Yeah, the War College people.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that they were people that were trained at the War College. Now that unfortunately that makes too much sense, so they'll probably come up with another stupid explanation.
Is this concept completely new? The idea of a War College associated with the Federation and with Starfleet?
I think so.
I guess they had Section 31, but they weren't really warriors. They were more CIA killing agents.
You had the Makos in Enterprise.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about those.
Very
good.
Yeah,
it does have a tradition, and in the Star Trek movies, the security officers also wore different uniforms.
But in terms, Dan, of them calling them the War College, if that was your question, I think this is the first time they've used that terminology.
Well, and they weren't really at war either. They were just isolated because they didn't have warp drive. So in theory, it would be like a defense college.
Yeah, but I don't think Gene Roddenberry would have liked the term War College to be perfect.
Well, no, but he's turning in his grave right now.
It just didn't sound like it belonged. Again, didn't sound like it belonged in this universe in the same way that using the word shit and flipping people off feels like.
Well, it's going to be a thing because if the Betazoid young cadet is now attached to the War College, and that means that's the War College is going to be a regular thing if she's a regular.
Yeah. The War College is essentially Slytherin, right? That is what their function is. They're evil, but on our side.
Oh God, yeah.
But when people go bad, it's from them, right?
But it's not interesting as a concept, is it, Rabbi? It can't. It just doesn't.
Okay, yeah, this is Commander Evil White Man. Like, hello, Commander Evil White Man. Oh, you oppose the rebellious criminal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there because we're going to get like philosophical conflicts between the War College and the Federation in terms of how to handle different issues, and so we're going to get a lot of scenes like that.
Oh, because of this character joining the War College.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought this was a lot more viable as a Star Trek story. It's not going to set the world on fire. And I think that, it's predictable stuff, but you get to see, it focuses on a couple of the actors who get a good stab at rounding out their characters would be the upside of it. But it still doesn't feel like Star Trek. It doesn't feel like anything that we haven't heard or seen a million times over. And in a season that's just made up of 10 episodes, I don't know. As you said, Rabbi, I'm not the target audience for this. Am I very clearly. I'm not sure who is, but it's not me.
Again, they're banking on it. They're hitting a Zoomer AR. Was it YouTube? Not YouTube. TikTok audience, right? This is TikTok Trek, and it's going to fail because it's made by massive incompetence, right? I mean that's really the explanation behind every aspect of the show.
Yeah,
massive incompetence behind insane bravado, right?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, the actors aren't bad. They do the best of everyone, right? But that makes the show. Like, how can you be this incompetent and be paid?
They think they're being clever,
please show me
Rabbi.
how, because I want to join.
Rabbi, they actually think they're being clever, and that's the really sad
because
part.
they're that stupid. Oh my god!
They think they're clever. They think they're funny. They think that they are wise, which is even worse. And they obviously believe that there is an audience for crap like this.
Because they work by algorithm. Have you ever seen the TV show Episodes?
No.
With Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah, oh, it's a pretty good show. There's like 30 episodes or whatever of it. It's about there's a hit English tea comedy show. They do 6 episodes a season. They get wooed to work in the American TV market, right? And it's like that your view through how awful it is, right? How these things happen. And watch that show and you understand this. It's got Matt LeBlanc in it playing an evil version of himself. But yeah, watch that show. And that's how you understand this now. They're massive incompetence, but hidden by massive egos because they're all got their jobs for just no reason whatsoever. They're either their parents, their daddy, their cousin got them in the right place at the right time, or their identity hires, right? And no one is there on merit.
Exactly.
And it shows that. How do you know this? Look, you can't make this if you have any merit in your profession. Look at it. It's awful.
Well, and you remember Discovery got a name check, I think, in the first episode, right, Dan? So they may bring Discovery into this at some point.
Well, also, I had to send my my positive thoughts out to Discovery for this in video number 1. I noted that this is actually a very good day to be the USS Discovery because it is officially no longer the most hideous thing to graze the screen in a Star Trek series. Like that is horrific.
Now, is it based on like the Clinton Library or something? The central bit goes down to Earth and is the Academy, right? And all the wingy bit stays in orbit.
No, the wingy bit, they shed the wingy bits like almost like not in orbit, but almost like closer to the planet. The wings just detach and float off.
Yeah, and then the other part inserts itself.
Oh, I'm sure.
Again, that was the most stupid thing. Talking of Discovery that they did was because I gave up after season 3 as well, but I did watch the finale just out of interest, which was hideous, and they actually went because they did those stupid upgrades to Discovery where they had the sort of
right
bells that weren't
vaguely remember
they did, and they put an A on it and all of this stuff, right? Well, then in the last episode they had to go back and retrofit it so it would make sense with that short episode that they had that was set far in the future where he discovers Discovery. And
yeah,
but again that
the short trek,
that reeks of the writing room for this stuff. Is they have to just do really dumb stuff like that. And Strange New Worlds is full of it as well, full of that kind of writing. Where
the Enterprise D grow on us. People hated that at the start. Maybe this will grow on us.
No.
Hey, look, I know we've given this a hard time, everyone. These are just our opinions. Obviously, maybe we've got it wrong because Rotten Tomatoes has certified this show fresh. For the people who value what Rotten Tomatoes says, I mean, should we take this remotely seriously? I don't think I can.
No. Right. Well, have you seen the audience score? Last time I checked, it was at 35, and I think that's being a little bit. I'll take a look at this right now on the phone.
I mean, I think a week from now, once people have had a week to watch it or whatever, I think that'll tell.
Starfleet
Academy. You could be right.
It got no views. Literally, no one was interested in it.
Yeah,
Well,
it got beat by Spock
we've got quite a lot of comments to get to over in the comments section on YouTube and Rumble, so we're going to take a look at those in a moment. But if you have seen this or you haven't, let us know. You may have been waiting to see if it was safe to look. Yeah, maybe if you don't listen to what we've got to say, maybe you're looking at what Rotten Tomatoes have got to say, and then you'll make your mind up. Both of these episodes are streaming on Paramount Plus right now, so UK and Canada. Chris, Latin America, Australia, Italy, France, pretty much everywhere, all on the Paramount Plus app. Both of these episodes, further episodes coming every week. Episode 3 is called Vitus Reflux, which sounds like something you'd get like the old boy in your PSA would go to the doctors about. Vitus Reflux.
No, it sounds like a vomit reflex.
I was going to say that's describing the audience watching.
That's coming next week. So I can barely wait before we'll be walking back into the Starfleet Academy to catch up with all of those students and ridiculous teachers. But I think it is definitely time we catch up with the people in the live chat watching on YouTube and Rumble and chipping in, venting their spleen, rants and raves. Hey, maybe there's some people who liked it. I don't know. There's only one way to find out. We're going to venture into that final frontier now.
Meteorite storm. Scotty, beam us up. Scotty! Scotty!
Don't worry, Captain. It's only a shower.
I don't need a brolly, you wally. Beam us up.
Captain, I haven't got the power.
Try, man, try. Power! More power!
Man's power, man. Start again.
Well, he certainly hasn't got the power. Good afternoon. But you could have national power and power gen. To register for a prospectus in the generating company's share offers, call 0272 272 272.
Still love that.
Yep. That's canon.
It's better every time, doesn't it? So yes, where are you? We're going to plot where you are on Starfleet Academy so far, whether you've seen it yourselves or whether you're waiting to see what we've got to say and what the general consensus is out there in geekdom. We've got lots of comments from YouTube and Rumble. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. This was always going to be a long and fraught one, but we're here and we're raring to go. Let's see who was in first. So we got the timescales. He was in first. Good luck with this one. I paid for 1 month of access to Paramount Plus. I watched the first episode, cancelled the service, and I'm asking for a refund. Not a great first comment there. And Thoti says, I think I can speak for all Star Trek fans, Rabbi, when he says that it's beyond dead, Jim. Could this be the final nail in the coffin? Because, they're going
to come back. They're retooling it. This is just like Kurtzman's last gasp. I'm hoping that it ends up like, they bring out good Star Trek in a few years. But no. I hate to tell you, it still makes too much money. Right? It still has the potential to
This
sell.
isn't making any money. It got beat by Spock in an
No, I'm saying
chair.
this does, but Star Trek still has financial potential.
It has currency left. Yeah, it does. It does. Stephen Brannick's been watching on YouTube and said that was so bad that I had to go back and watch Balance of Terror and The Wrath of Khan to wipe the taste of burnt ashes from my mouth. Oh, very
fair comment.
Very elaborate. Thank you for that.
Essential.
Funky asks, is Academy as bad as everyone says?
Yes.
It depends. I'm afraid for the most part, it is. It's not good. It's Hogwarts, says
I
Lucy.
like the
It's
Harry
Hogwarts.
Potter movies. I hate
So
this.
do I. Yeah, good point. And I see Alex Kurtzman blending his star shits with decent legacy starships.
Yeah.
I wonder why, asks PD Rich. Good to see you, PD Rich. Hope you're keeping well, and we'll never know. We'll never know the answers to these questions because, as the Rabbi says, we're hunting for reason and logic in it, Keith. And that is the trap we keep falling into. I feel.
Yeah. I like the fact he calls him Klutzman. That's quite.
I can't do that. I'm sorry. Daz Blue says my biggest issue with New Trek is the complete lack of any form of discipline, military, naval structure, David. Now, that sounds like quite a spotty comment to make, but Daz has got a point. When you look back through the legacy of the show, it was fine. It was a functional part of the universe for over 35 years. Why jettison it now, David? Why have they done that?
Because I guess they don't give a damn. I guess they are just wanting to write what they want to write. Hey, it'll be all right, everybody. Why do we have to have discipline? Why do we have to have structure? That's the old stuff. Too regimented, all this and the other. But that's the whole point of a starship, is that you have that structure, you have that rank structure, you have the ability to be promoted, you have the ability to. You should respect the captain and your lieutenant commanders, or your lieutenant commanders for the Americans, and without that discipline, it just becomes, as I said, a bit like Saved by the Bell. Even Saved by the Bell had more discipline than that, and it's just pissing on the chips of Roddenberry's vision for the future.
Or you go, David,
design of Star Trek.
You go, David, with the Occam's razor simplest explanation. It's like it's military, and the people that are making this might be just anti-military.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, as I say, pissing on the chips of everything that we've come to, that we know about it. I mean, the best example of why it works, if I may just be allowed a little moment, is when you've got the Captain Shaw, Riker, Picard dynamic aboard the Titan. It's my ship. I'm in command. You're two has-beens, essentially, that just gallivanted across the galaxy, causing mayhem, but not on my ship, because this is my ship. I'm the one. I
suppose the idea, David, is they may not like one another, they may not know one another or respect one another, but they've got respect for the hierarchy and for the
respect for the rank.
Yeah, several people here in the live chat. Several people here in the live chat have mentioned the swearing thing, Gary, that you pointed out immediately. People just aren't happy with this for the same reasons that we're not. Yeah. And it looks like that's going to be continually a thing. It's going to be a characteristic of this show, and something we're going to have to tolerate, I suppose. It's up to the individual how many episodes we're going to be in this for. But it seems like it's not going anywhere, and I think it's unnecessary. Is it immature? It's just not Star Trek. Athenite says the officers are just as immature as the students. No professionalism whatsoever, Rabbi. Yeah, they're not anybody I would wish to take instruction from.
Again, yeah, this is it's. There's nobody. Is there anybody actually pretending this is Star Trek? Right? I mean, how? Right? If you pretend this is Star Trek, you're lying, because this isn't Star Trek.
Or you think it's Star Trek because you've been told this is Star Trek, because to you, Star Trek is the bile from the past 9 years.
Yeah.
Real Star Trek died in 2005. Yeah.
We've got
like the
a
show
few
that
comments.
shall not be named, right? Nobody's seen what they've done because nobody gives a shit.
Because people stopped watching years ago, and this has got Star Trek on the poster. That'll be enough for some people, but very few people have known the last 3 or 4 series have existed. Never mind this. And we've got several comments here from Mamo G1Z. Mamo, I'm just going to call you Mamo, who says it's a gender-driven, guys. And asks, can you understand Captain Marbles?
She sounds like she's got Tammy Wynette's teeth in. She just look. I have a minor speech impediment, so don't get on me on that one, YouTube haters. But I have. It sounds like she's trying to do a really poor imitation of Janeway, but with somebody else's teeth in, and it is awful. It grates on me, and I go for. It's drawl, and I find it. Oh God, it makes me flinch, and I just think, for goodness' sake, just no.
I did wonder if it had been my old television when I saw the guy Dr. Mabenga on Strange New Worlds mumbling his way through that show, but it's exactly the same on this. I just think it's badly thought through. I don't know if it's been badly cast or not, but something's not working because I can't hear these motherfuckers, and that's a big problem when I'm watching the telly. The Peter Venkman fan site here, PVFS, says, I knew it'd be bad, but the amount of cringe should be in the Guinness book. It is pretty bad. Mamo
He
says
makes
it's
a
a
very
ginger.
good point, because every time you point out something, you remember that's the worst thing ever. Nothing can be possibly as bad. They point out now, I'm thinking, fuck me, that's the worst thing ever. Nothing could ever. And they point out things like you have what's the name in the chair, and then you have, I don't know, the whole thing with the guy, with the boy who's breaking out. Everything's awful and stupid. Everything is awful and stupid. The ship, everything.
Are you intrigued,
Rabbi?
Are you intrigued? Rabbi, but are you intrigued by what's going to be his arc? Is he going to find his mom?
I couldn't give a shit.
Dan, Find My Mom is right up there with Get Her Home as a valid season-long arc.
Listen, I couldn't care less if there were the whole ship was captured and they're turned into Orion sex slaves. In fact, I would
know, Rabbi, you know that we're going to get episodes like, okay, the hologram girl, that her program glitches and they've got to do something to save her before her program goes wonky. That's going to be a thing. We're going to get the episode of the Beta Z girl, because they've already alluded to it, that her powers can go crazy. We're going to get the episode where the Klingon has to man up and connect with this Klingon. It's going to be all
warrior.
It's going to be all so predictable.
Yeah, there's clearly something bubbling under the surface with this Klingon character. He seems like his mind is elsewhere.
Okay, is he the first gay Klingon?
I don't think I didn't get the idea that he was gay.
Well, we haven't There's a remarkable lack of, even though I do suspect that everybody on the faculty is a lesbian of one kind or another, there's been a surprising lack of any sexual activity and talk. I mean, there was a mention of hooking up. Caleb asked the pretty girl with the funny eyebrows, how do you hook up? But that was largely it. Discovery was full of that sort of stuff. And so was the first two seasons of Picard, come to think of it. Nothing in this so far, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm sure they're going to hit us with a load of identity politics at some point in the equation. PD Rich has reminded us that a Guinan is an Elorian, not a Lathanite. If I can't even say this stuff, how can I? And Data Cores joining us on YouTube says, with so many of these people, how can they go to warp? I don't know.
A Zenpet.
Didn't the Onion, or not the Onion, Babylon B have the thing that we can't go to warp drive because we're too obese. Yeah. Like, what is with the fat woman with the blue top with her? I mean, she's awful. And they should have cast Joe Martin. That would have been hilarious.
I was just going to say, this is Joe Martin to me.
It's the same performance. It's Big Mo again, isn't it? Big Mo in sci-fi. Interchangeable characters.
Pat Butcher.
All the same. Funky says, I've only watched Picard in the last decade, and I didn't even finish season 2 of that. Well, just watch season 3. Just watch season 3. Forget about it.
Season 2 was awful. Season
2 is by far the worst of the 3.
Although, what's the name? The blonde woman looked the hottest in it.
Jerry Ryan?
No. The one in the red dress.
Huh?
Oh, I blocked it all out, mate.
That was a blonde, a giraffe.
Renee Picard, you're thinking of?
No. It was a much more busty singer. Did you watch this? It was so stupid.
She became the Borg Queen. That one.
Who was she? She was good. She was hot before she started off mousy, then became hot, then became the Borg Queen. Right, so it became hot, then just got kinky.
It could happen to anyone. We've got Robert Payne in the live chat who says Starfleet Academy is one of those special measures comprehensives which were renamed academies.
that makes sense. This is a ship for retarded people. No offense, retarded people. This is a ship for like people who have and they think they're Starfleet personnel, right? They just keep them busy because they're all like doolally.
Funky is speculating we may get some guest stars later in the season, including a performance, an appearance, a cameo from Greta Thunberg, maybe in a hologram form.
Does she have the He-Man haircut?
She just turns up to say, "How dare you?"
We need to do better.
Unless she does, I tell you what, I'm handing back my Paramount Plus pass as well. Mamo also asks, "Who's the father?" Nobody. Yeah, we don't have a word.
Fathers are irrelevant.
We don't have a word said about Caleb's father. He's looking for his mother. Where is his dad? And the fact that thought never crossed my mind until I saw this comment from Momo.
Oh, it crossed my mind.
That says that I'm getting used to it. And I'm a father of 6.
Well, here's why it crossed my mind, Dan, because we'll never find out. It literally, we're at the point where it does not matter. It's just assumed that his father's gone bye-bye, and his father's probably toxic and terrible.
No, Dan, that's going to be the season 2 arc. Where's my dad? Or who's my dad? That'll be for season 2.
Season 2 arc, who's your daddy? There you go.
Who's your daddy?
Annie. Well, it's not Annie.
PB777 says this show is made by social ideology activists for social ideology activists. They hate Star Trek and never watched it. They use the platform to make Melrose Space.
Very
says PB777.
You see, my daughter's almost 20, and she's prime audience for this. She's also gay. She's got a lovely girlfriend. I love her to bits. And I spoke to her about, have you seen this trailer for Star Trek Academy? And she said, "Why would I want to watch that shit, Dad?"
The correct
answer,
because
she said, and she after watching the trailer, she said that just doesn't appeal to me. Now my son is 3 years young. He's just turned 17. That does not appeal to him whatsoever, and they are just 2 average kids for that generation, young adult sort of stuff, and it's the thing. So they're pumping out this stuff thinking, gay kids of that age might want to watch it. No, not at all. My daughter has got and she's got a broad taste of stuff, and she just went, "That is just absolute shit."
Yeah, straight or gay people can still smell a turd when they.
You know what? I just had a great idea for a story. Imagine this by like the League of Gentlemen, right? You have a dad who's an old school Star Trek fan. He's an old northern guy, and he's wearing the red shirt with the phaser. He's got all the old school. He hates the new one, right? His kids are always embarrassed by him. They can't stand him. Because it's like he's so embarrassing into Star Trek. So one day, because he keeps trying to tell them how great Star Trek is, they don't get it. Then they go, "Oh, look, they're making youth Star Trek." And he kidnaps the kids and forces them to watch Starfleet Academy. And then the police come and arrest them, I guess. I don't know how that goes, but
PD Rich may have cracked it already. He's speculating that we're wondering where the father is. He thinks that Paul Giamatti's character
yes, I think so too.
Caleb's father.
Yep.
That's the dumbest thing they could do, so that's probably
why they're going to do it. Yep.
I hadn't even thought of that as well. I haven't given it a great deal of thought, come to think of it. We've got several new subscribers, particularly on YouTube, in the last few days. Here via Bowlestrek recommendation. Good to have you aboard. Equalizer 9154. Thanks for being here.
Welcome,
and thanks
I want to know what the other
for the plugs, Chris.
9,153 equalizers are like.
Yeah. Good point. Dr. Girardi, she was the Borg queen with the big jugs, Rabbi.
That's the one. Big jugs with the Borg.
There you go.
And a nice red dress. Very good fitting red dress.
Exactly, yes.
That's your next thumbnail, Rabbi.
Second after she became hot, right? And then P.D. Rich says she was on Snowpiercer. Who was she on Snowpiercer? Snowpiercer was a show that was shit, but I kind of liked it anyway. Did you ever watch it?
Movie and a show.
Hey, Rabbi, how long is it going to be until we see the Klingon Jem'Hadar woman in one of your thumbnails?
I never. Oh,
like in a bikini, maybe.
Go on, Rabbi.
Oh, God, that struck off.
Do it,
Rabbi,
do it.
thumbnails recently, though. I got a very good 7 on 9 for tomorrow.
Her and Portly Dan.
I have mirror 7 on 9, right? So it's very chesty. And then in the background you've got Starfleet Academy playing. That is on the bridge of the Enterprise. It says, "Fuck me, we didn't do shit this evil in the mirror universe."
A student is only as bad as their teachers. Oh dear, reminds us Funky there in the live chat. And I am your servant says it's about as military as a skipful of autistic ferrets. What a colourful comparison to make to this brand new
They are very
series of Star Wars.
militaristic, I can tell you, especially if you get them up your trousers.
Now, are they going to be making all of the serious question? Are they going to be making all of the episodes available on YouTube, or was it just the first one?
It was just the first one to try to entice people to come and actually pay to watch the rest of them. It did not go. It did not end very well for them.
No, the consensus is in, and pretty much everybody agrees that this show blows. Even Q would agree with that. So yeah, thank you for all the comments, everybody. There's loads more coming too, so we'll try and get to some more if we can. I mean, we have had things up on the view screen. A lot of people are talking about this show. Well, within certain communities. Anyway, people are talking about this show, talking and sharing. Robert Picardo's talking quite a lot about it. He's very proud to be in it. And members of the cast are sharing various pictures. Include this is a picture. You can hear this picture. Lots of screeching. Nothing particularly audible.
Have you seen this woman at the premiere, right? Whoever she is, Mickey Mouse girl.
Yeah, she had like gold
so
teeth.
Weird in real life.
Yeah.
What's your term for her again, Chris? Something gram?
Oh no, that's the hefty gram.
The hefty gram. Thank you.
Hefty gram. That's Sonequa Martin Green, who I think that woman is so sexy, but she wasn't even worth sticking with Discovery to see. There she is cuddling up to the girl who plays Sam. So yeah, fair enough. I understand that they're happy to be employed. It's good stuff. We've got more words of wisdom out there on X. This was Grand DM, who says, "I don't want Star Trek to reinvent itself again. I want a new ship, a new crew, and a 5-year mission into the unknown. Stories about curiosity, hard choices, and hope for the future. That's not nostalgia. That's Star Trek." Keith, a great post I thought for Grand
Bravo.
DM.
What a great post. I couldn't have said it better myself. Love it.
Bravo.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
But you're quite right. Social media was won by Mr. Spock. Star Trek is pretty much always won by Mr. Spock, but this particular Mr. Spock, a plastic Mr. Spock, sat aloft the back of a chair in a very familiar-looking room. Friend of the show, Gary Beekler. This was his stunt. Yes, so he declared, "My live stream with a Spock action figure in an empty chair beats Star Trek Starfleet Academy's 1.3 thousand at peak live viewers on YouTube in under 3 minutes."
Yeah.
So
wait, the whole stream was just that?
Yeah, no, literally, Gary streamed that for 2 hours, and it beat the actual.
And he didn't. Was he talking?
No, Gary, literally, other Gary, the neurotic Gary. No, he set up his camera, put Spock in the chair for 2 hours, paralleled, so it went live as the show went live. So literally it was a 2-hour live stream of Spock sitting in a chair. What you're looking at right now, that was the entire stream, and it beat the free Star Trek stream
in 3 minutes.
So Gary was I know that Gary was blocked by Paramount a few days ago, so that could be part of the reason that he struck back so effectively, hit them where it hurts, because they put it to watch for free on YouTube, which is, considering the show is so expensive, I bet that hurt them a little. But this victory, this defeat, I suppose, the hands of Nerdrotic, that's going to hurt them even more. So yeah, well done Gary, and well done Spock. Obviously, there was another comment here from Bill Hunt. Got to be careful how you say that. Bill Hunt. Bill says, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek was about science, exploration, bold concepts, high ideals, and ethics. The best and the brightest of a diverse humanity bravely pushing back the unknown and working with intelligent beings from other worlds to build a better future for all. Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek is about creating glossy, emotional support entertainment designed to comfort insecure 20-somethings via the sharing of their personal truths talking about their feelings and doubts and validating their own obvious awesomeness. What a post,
We're
Bill.
so awesome. Everyone is awesome. Shut up.
Wait, here's the thing. I mean, do you think that, and I already know what the answer is, do you think that shows like Discovery or Starfleet Academy would engender lifelong devoted fandoms like the original series or the Next Gen did for all of us? No.
Gary, they would be very strange people.
Even the people that watch Discovery have already forgotten about it.
That's my point. I mean, I don't know how you found this, both you, Chris, and you, Rabbi, because you covered the show extensively while it was on. The impression I get is that the only reason people talked about them at the time was to defend them, and now that it's long over, they've forgotten about them just the same as the rest of the human race has.
Yeah, nobody gives it. I'm going to have to bow out. I am, as we always know, coming up to this time of night, cream crackered. It is time to climb the wooden hill to Bedford. Thank you very much for having me be on the discussion. This was shit. I'll see you next week. This was shit. This was shit. Kapluck, everybody. Don't.
This was shit. I'll see you next week. Thank you, mate. I think he means that. Yeah. Last but by no means least, over on YouTube, of course, was this offering from. Anybody know who this? Chris, do you know who this is?
Well, that's Plumpy. Yes. So yes, everyone. I have returned to you. This was not a planned return. I was going to wait until that terrible British show came back because I'm on a mission. But considering I campaigned against this show being released for years and it became released, I have decided to, put myself through hell. Although, Dan, I do have I have a little snippet here that I'm going to read before we finish off.
Oh, please do.
So this is from my review of the second episode. The first episode you can catch on my YouTube channel. That's where that thumbnail is from. I'm currently working on the second episode, and that will be out at some point in the next few days. But I will read a little paragraph from my script, which sort of summarizes my thoughts on this. Now, the version that you will hear in the video is somewhat more shouty than what I'm going to do here. So just turn up the volume. But so this is my summary of what we've seen so far. Okay, so. To quote, so this is from a script. There is a special place in hell for everyone involved in the final stomping to death of the Star Trek franchise. Sometimes something comes along that's so horrible, so dastardly detestable, that one can't help but be amazed at its level of depravity and hate for everything that came before, except for the crap that they made themselves. There is a certain level of brand damage that is impossible to overcome. With these two episodes, all the goodwill left after Picard Season 3 that wasn't already taken away from by Section 31 has now been expelled into the toilet and spewed into the sewage tank, never to be treated, only to sit there festering in its own fecal-laden stew of perpetual woke rankness. And so that is my review.
That
will be in the second video, a bit more shouty than it was here.
So you liked it then, Chris?
Oh, it was great.
Great minds. Great.
I can't, Chris.
We shall not
can't,
be getting any updates on Frank because this is. We'll catch up with Frank in a few weeks. He's still running from Satan, and nothing has changed there.
I can't wait, Chris, to see what condition you're in by episode 10.
I'll be dead.
So that's what's out there. That's what's out there this week. We're going to keep our sensors open and see what we receive. So if you spy something or hear something you think we should get up on the view screen, by all means send it our way. The Equalizer adds, David, Sonequa Martin Green may be sexy, but I still recall the unwarranted insults she threw at the fans and the audience as she defended that Discovery program. See,
she was quite vile.
Sure.
So was she one of those great PR successes whereby she thought that by insulting long-term fans, she would turn them round to
Yes.
support.
It did not go as planned, but they still got their 5 seasons because there is a hell.
That was from David. That was from the RTD School of Brand Management.
I see. Yes, let's insult all the people that will try we need to watch our media.
That's right.
In the hope that they will go, oh my God, yes, you're so right.
It only goes one way, David. People just turn over. People just hit that switch. They go for something else. Mamo offers us the idea of a Starfleet Academy alien female calendar as a choice of nightmare. I quite like the little blonde with the funny eyebrows and the Beta Z girl, I suppose.
Yes,
but,
I agree.
You know, it's whatever. Not enough to. It wouldn't be enough to keep me watching. If I wouldn't carry on watching Discovery to see Sonequa Martin Green, then I'm not going to carry on watching Starfleet Academy just for those 2 girls. But they are quite cute. Lots of support for the Rabbi here as he beams away, just in the nick of time with his crackers well and truly creamed. Kaplar, says the Equalizer. Fine words. Bowlestrek adds Stephen Braddock.
Thanks, dude.
But Funky does say that could be used for any of the franchises at the moment.
I allow usage of my quotation to be used wherever one feels fit. At the moment, it fits this because this is the current crap. But Rabbi's gone. I was going to say, Rabbi's been saying this stuff is over. No, it isn't. Nope. This is just starting. It's never going to go away.
All right, this just came into my head, Dan. I'm curious. If you could only change one thing about, and I don't mean, obviously, Chris, I'm not talking about never show it at all, but I mean, just seriously, if you could take the first 2 episodes that we got and change just one element of it to make it better, what do you think that would be?
Sack Alex Kurtzman. Or do you mean creatively what's on screen?
Okay, well, just what we saw. My choice would be replace Holly Hunter with a more authoritative actress.
Yeah.
I think that would do immeasurably.
Someone needs to be swapped out for this to work.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, at first glance, someone needs to go. The guy playing Caleb or Holly Hunter. Those 2 characters
you forgot
together.
About Plumpy.
Yeah.
Even her, because she's not in it enough. You've got to believe in the relationship between Caleb and the captain, and you don't, because they've got no. I wouldn't say they've got no chemistry. It just doesn't work. It doesn't feel right. You can't do. I think it has to be her. I
really
do.
They did it with. Sorry, Keith.
No, carry on. Sorry.
They did it with Kate Mulgrew in Voyager because the first Captain Janeway didn't
Genevieve Bujold.
Yeah. So they got in Kate Mulgrew. So they've made the mistake of not actually thinking that, hang on a minute, this isn't quite working.
Well, but that was the actress, David, who realized within a day that she just was not.
It was both the actress, but then behind the scenes, the rumors are Rick Berman almost lost his job over that. But although I think Bujold actually did a better job than Hunter, because I've seen all the scenes that were filmed, and you can at least understand what she's saying.
I don't think the actors are the problem here. I think swapping the actors out wouldn't make any difference. The problem here is the writing. This is awful. The writing, what they need to get rid of is the whole writing team and the showrunner and Kurtzman.
The feeling I got, Keith, as I was listening to the dialogue, I think you pointed at it earlier on, of the Joss Whedonisms. Joss Whedon used to drop those things in every few minutes. Yeah. But when you're watching, and Starfleet Academy is by no means the only example of this, nobody actually has a conversation in this show. They just trade one-liners, snappy bits of what they perceive to be wisdom, exposition of what little plot there is. Nobody sits and has a proper conversation, and because you've got the whole sensory thing going on as well, none of it feels.
The franchise is so that the production values, the acting, all of that is fine, but the whole franchise is poorly managed and has been for nearly a decade now. It's how he's still got a job is unbelievable. I mean, it is just not very good, this. And it's a shame because it's really well made. But as I said,
it was inexcusable years ago, Keith, when they made Picard.
I'll tell you what, Dan. I liken it to this, and this is. I'm going to frame it this way because this is very much your audience in your podcast and in your wheel space, right? I look at it like this. So back in the day, we've talked loads on the show, on other shows, about Blake 7. Which was made in the late 70s, early 80s. Virtually no budget whatsoever. Virtually no budget. Really poor, good designs and stuff, but not greatly executed, right? But that show worked because the writing and the characters were absolutely solid. Right. Terry Nation and Brian Croucher and all those guys that produced and wrote those shows. The scripts were really smart, really good. The characters really interesting. The stories, all of that stuff. What we've got here is the pole opposite. The production values on this stuff, there's no doubt about it. You can see where the money goes. It's absolutely top notch, whether you like the designs or not. Right. The actual visual effects and sets and costumes and even the level of acting and everything is fine, but the problem with it is the writing is terrible. So it's like the opposite problem. And something like Blake 7, you kind of forgive it because the writing is so good. Whereas this, it's glossy and looks great and there's attractive actors and blah blah blah, all this, but I don't care because it's so poorly written and it just doesn't feel like Star Trek anymore. Or
you're
not
right.
for me, and I get that. It's
You're
just
right. The writing is worse than the acting, without a doubt. One last question, which I thought was interesting and worth looking at. And David, you've alluded to this a little, talking about your daughter. Are your kids allowed to watch this show? My kids, if they're mostly too old for this now, but there are one or two who are in the target demographic and are quite geeky. And I think this should be aimed at 12-year-olds and up. But I would not let, if I was in the position where my children were of an age where I could tell them what to watch and what not to, I would not let my children watch this, mostly because of the language. To tell you the truth, I think it sets a bad example. I just think it sets a bad example, and I'm all for swearing. I make no bones about that. I swear like a trooper myself quite regularly. But it's not what I want from entertainment. It's not right. It's not right for Star Trek. And it's the reason why this show stands no chance of finding a target audience that may have actually enjoyed it, may have invested in it, because it's been all those elements have been poorly judged. So nobody's going to expose any adolescent to this, never mind a child. It's because of that duality, that crisis of identity that the show has got. Because Alex Kurtzman and his familiars can only make that kind of show. They can't speak to anyone else. It's all a very sort of slapdash, very haphazard way of making television. Just put it out there, hope that people stay on the app for long enough that we can hit the numbers that we need to hit and keep their jobs. That's entirely how they look at it. And I think it's totally understandable that the window is finally closing on all of these arseholes. Not before time. Paramount Plus, they're in a dicey situation themselves. Of course, they're not going to keep any of these twats on any longer. And the sad thing is that Starfleet Academy may be the end of Star Trek on television for an extended period of time because of the incredible amounts of damage that have been done to the brand. One half decent live action show, one season of something else. These things just came and went like farts in the wind. Everybody else, the people who saw it, all they remember was crushing disappointment and bleakness, and that's not what people want from Star Trek at all. Avon Lives says Lothoth.
You're absolutely right, Dan, because the whole premise of Star Trek, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine was a bit more adult because it was Voyager, a bit more scarier. But the whole premise of Star Trek, the original series, and Next Generation is that it would be safe to watch it between the ages of 6 and 106, and it was accessible across all the demographics, because I started watching it when I was at 6 or 7, because it was safe. For the kids, it's a little bit scary at some points, but they've got adventure and all this and the other. But as you get older, there's an interesting sort of moral sort of area to sort of, there's a moral issue you grapple with. For some of the audience, they fancied obviously Captain Kirk and some of the ladies in the short dresses, and but there was this theme of adventure, this theme of, for the geeky people, there was the science and the technology and the future technology. But this, you're absolutely right. You can't let a 6 or 7-year-old watch it because of the language. It doesn't appeal to people across a broad range of age demographics, and it has no real clear identity of what it is trying to be. Is it a comedy? Is it a social sort of commentary piece? Is it science fiction? Well, it's neither any of those, because they can't determine what they want it to be. And if it doesn't fit into the Star Trek universe, what they're trying to do is just jam it in there and saying, hey, we're calling this Star Trek, so you will accept it as Star Trek. Well, no, we won't. Because if it doesn't adhere to the basic principles of what the show should be, then I'm sorry, but you've failed. And what you've been saying about the total mismanagement over the last 10 years, and apart from Picard series 3, it's a 3 series, this is the first sort of new Star Trek I have watched, and I'm questioning what on earth is this doing in the sort of like lexicon of Star Trek history. Where does this fit in? It doesn't fit in anywhere.
Well, what do you mean chronologically?
Where does it fit in? Where does it fit in? I think what David's pointing to is where, and we're going to have to wrap it up now, sadly. But where does it fit in, and where? Most importantly, particularly at this time in its history as a franchise, as a brand, where does it fit in, and where can it possibly go from here?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
8 more episodes of this coming up. Everybody, we'll be here week on week. Maybe we'll get some answers to some of those questions. I wouldn't bet on it though.
He observed that the crew of the astroship Venture must be beamed aboard immediately. But, unfortunately, due to the planet's dry atmosphere, beamability is impaired. The computer immediately diagnoses a lack of refreshment to the molecular structure of the crew. So, the cold Heinekens are beamed down, and quickly, Heineken refreshes the molecular structure, enabling them to return to the astroship and continue making nuisances of themselves all over the universe. Only Heineken can do this, because it refreshes the parts other beers cannot reach.
I love that.
Scientifically accurate than these first two episodes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we're all smiling now. If we got it out of our systems at all after a couple of hours going in on Starfleet Academy, we can't join up, we can't sign up, and we can't turn the place inside out actually on screen in the future. But we can give it a bloody good idea here on YouTube and Rumble. I think we've definitely served up some torpedoes worth of conversation here. Lots of food for thought from the live chat as well. Thank you everybody for all those comments and your company. How are your comm badges, guys? Are they still attached, or has anybody swallowed this?
Yes.
You're still there, guys? Still okay? Still all right? Because these things can happen, mate. These things can happen. It'll turn up in one of Chris's PSAs at some point in the future.
Don't swallow your com badge.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, this series, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, is the first proper offering from Paramount officially for Star Trek's 60th anniversary year. Who knows? It might get much better. It might be okay. We're here for the rest of the season. By all means, you're free to tag along as well. Why should we suffer alone, I suppose? But you've got to hope. You've got to hope that something may gel at some point. This was filmed a year ago that we're watching now. They're deep into filming season 2 as we speak. So we're going to get more of this, whether we like it or not, whether the ship will grow on us. I think that's fairly unlikely. This thing makes no sense. I think it's quite ugly as well. The more I look at it, the more I dislike it. It's usually the other way around with Star Trek ships, I find. Yeah, I really don't like this at all. But let us know what you think. Of course, we'll see you in the comments with more of that about the ships, the cast, the writing, everything, where it could go in the future. Are you invested in any of these plots of where it could hit story-wise over the next 8 weeks? Let us know. Rotten Tomatoes have certified Starfleet Academy fresh. Believe it or not, we gave it a proper pasting, and I think I think I need to wet my whistle again. Is 10 backwards still open? Does anybody know? There's one straddler, Gary. Typical.
Well, no, I was just going to say, if you go back to the poster that you were just showing us there, I think where they're all walking on the bridge.
Yeah.
There, I think it would have been more accurate, instead of saying new series now streaming, to say new series now steaming. That would have been more. That would have been more factually accurate.
Steaming, yeah. It's they're a strange bunch. So that's the frustrating thing is I don't dislike all of the young actors. It's not that I feel that they shouldn't be there or that they're even in the wrong roles. It's everything else. And I thought it would be them that I was. But that's the biggest surprise in this. I thought I was going to hate all of them. But it's everything else. It's the writing, the look of the show, and the supposedly seasoned actors that are meant to be anchoring this to give the younger actors room to grow.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around. But yes, it is enough. It is enough to drive us to drink. I mean, it looks like Picard. He's managed to get his last orders in there with Guinan. Any last orders here? I mean, Chris, your video review has dropped. I understand we have lots of fervent Bowlestrek supporters have joined us tonight, so thank you to everybody for that. But plug it again, Chris. What can people hear from you, and where can they hear it?
Okay, so I got a YouTube channel which will be active for at least the next 9 weeks. So just go to YouTube, put in Bowlestrek. You'll get a bunch of angry hate videos and my channel. So it'll be lots of fun. So video number 1 of new Star Trek series dropped yesterday. So it's called Starfleet Academy is an Abomination. So that's my review of episode 1.
Losing the title.
Ambiguous as ever.
And episode 2, that review will be out sometime in the next few days. So the trigger train is back in function for at least the next till the middle of March. This is gonna suck. At which point it will probably go in hiding again until another terrible thing comes out, which will be probably that British show at the end of the year. So come join me on the YouTube, subscribe. It's gonna be a fun ride. Can't wait.
We might get season 2 by the end of the year, Chris.
Say what?
I said we might get season 2 of this by the end of the year.
No.
If you are listening to that video, the wonderful video that Chris has done, please don't make the same mistake as I did and have your in-the-ear headphones in your ears and the Bluetooth volume on your phone a bit louder than you should have it, because otherwise your ears will bleed.
I have had a few complaints in the comments section. Yes, I start yelling like 1 second into the video.
Yeah.
So,
just put sandbags around your speakers. And it'll be fine.
Good move. Good move. I also recommend transporting over to the Rabbi from Another Planet's channel on YouTube. As always, we're very grateful for Svi's company here. It's very, very late for him, but he battled his way through, I think, very valiantly in the face of this steaming turd that has been Starfleet Academy. So if you want more from the Rabbi from Another Planet, he's there on YouTube and Rumble as well. Keith, thank you. I'm glad you wanted in on this. I mean, you've said you're probably not going to be watching any further. Is that a coin toss for you at the moment, or could we find you back?
Dan, I really appreciate you having me on, and it's been great to hang with the guys and look at all the YouTube comments and stuff, which has been brilliant. But I'm going to be really honest. I will not be back next week. Quite frankly, I just don't. I'm trying not to waste time anymore, and I don't want to watch these episodes. It's not for me. Again, nothing against the actors and nothing against people who like this show. That is absolutely fine. It's just not for me. We live in a world where there's way too much stuff to watch now anyway, and I just don't want to invest any more of my time into this. This 2 hours was actually quite difficult for me to watch today. I really the part I've liked is this bit. I've really enjoyed discussing it, and I'm glad. Whereas in some respects, from an entertainment point of view, it would have probably been great if we'd had different opinions on it. But the fact that we all universally think the same thing tells me everything that I need to know about whether Keith, this is.
In places, I did enjoy it.
Yes,
but,
like I said,
I didn't hate this, but I didn't like it, and it's not a show I'll be looking forward to watching next week.
Yes.
The overriding feeling that I have is that it's all very well and good, but A, it's not Star Trek, and B, it's not for me, and so. Yeah, I do arrive at your position,
I
even if I don't feel the fierce dislike for this that I have had for other shows.
I don't again. I didn't think this was terrible. I just don't think it's for me. That's what I will say. I didn't think it was awful, but I just don't really want to invest any more time in the show. Yeah.
Well, we're really grateful for you transporting in to spend this time with us. And when this is all wrapped up, we hope to tempt you back to talk about more of the stuff that you do like, because we will be sticking around long after Starfleet Academy is all wrapped up. Our plans are afoot, so be sure to come back at some point in the future.
And in the meantime, go visit Home Media Minefield, everybody. A wonderful, wonderful channel on YouTube.
Link will be in the description, to Keith's YouTube channel, where he dispenses wisdom about everything home media. David, you haven't seen episode 2 yet. I mean, are you looking forward to watching it, the beta test, based on what we've teased of it so far, or do you view it as a bit of a chore?
I will watch it with an open mind, like I watch everything with an open mind. Am I looking forward to it? No. However, as I say, I will watch it because I love you guys, and I will watch episode 3 because it will be my duty to watch episode 3, because I wouldn't watch it if it wasn't for the panel and if it wasn't for the show, and I watch it out of respect for you all. So I will be continuing because as I say, I made a commitment to it, and sometimes you have to do things that you don't like, and I see this series as doing something that I don't like, but
I don't now.
No, don't at all, Keith. I fully respect your point of view. I fully understand it. I really do, and I commend you for it. But I will do it, and I will take my medicine, and because I don't feel that I can comment about something if I don't watch it, and the thing is, I will do that. The brilliance of it is that I have a fantastic back catalogue of Star Trek. I also have the heartwarming Hetty Wainthropp Investigates series
that's
going on in the background, so I can sort of like watch an episode of this dumpster fire, to quote Chris, one of his famous quotes, and I can then sort of cleanse myself by seeing the wonderful Patricia Routledge on the screen.
There you go.
Battling some dodgy Northwest fraudster on Hetty Wainthropp Investigate. So it's been a pleasure to be on, as always. And just to clarify, what I was going on about, you were right, Dan. How does all this fit in within the rest, with respect to the rest of the Star Trek canon? Not with respect to dates, but with respect to the fact that I think it's like an invader trying to destroy or disrupt what we know to be Star Trek. If you see, that's my point on that one. So I will continue with it for as long as I have to. So thank you.
We've got the big thinkers in the live chat here. I am your servant says apparently in the future, the more women eat, the better the job they get. That's something for us to think on, I believe, as we sail off, Gary. I mean, food for thought, literally there from everybody in the live chat on YouTube and Rumble. This is why we do this.
I've, of course, loved being with everybody. I echo the sentiments that even if what we're covering is not optimal, just our coverage of it is always fun. And I've got to say, I'm looking forward to having a front row seat for the gradual disintegration of Chris's psyche over the next 8 weeks.
Yes,
so that will be
a fun time.
That will be something to witness.
This has been Warp Drive, a Star Trek podcast streaming live to YouTube and Rumble. There'll be lots more coming over the next couple of months. Oh God, when did they say mid-March? Yeah, you can catch up on the. You can catch up on the 2 previous runs of Warp Drive Star Trek on its own dedicated YouTube channel. You can go and find that, Warp Drive, a Star Trek podcast on YouTube. In the meantime, make sure you drop us a comment. We'll answer them when we can. And yeah, we'll see you back here, same time next week. Who knows? We may like this starship by then. I think the odds could be against it. Look, it's time to warp out, but we'll see you out there somewhere. Maybe Keith, if not at the same time next week, I suppose. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.